All right, and that's
done.
this time for Mana Claw. GG, congratulations on a very good run. Oh no,
All right, let's go.
Ombi is kind of struggling here with Emerald, with just Ryam. He's got 7 meats and what, 1 Phoenix down, 1 or 2 left.
Oh, that auto targeting is messing him up.
It'll be a really hard toss up to see if he can finish Memoro, honestly.
You might want to start using the focus attack.
Well, he can't, because that one's a projectile.
Oh yeah.
Because he'll just throw his arms out. Unless he wants to switch back to Warrior's weapon. And just take it even slower from there. I think he just has to adjust and just walk. Oh, that's a one-hit kill. I don't think he crafted armor. I think that's the problem.
Fear not, I have returned.
And he made it through.
Okay,
Good.
He made it through. Okay,
now he's gonna have to be very cautious with Mimiroa.
Very careful. If he dies in any way, he's gonna have to game over. And fortunately, you start from the Memoroa fight again, but you don't start with any of your Phoenix Downs or meats or anything. Okay, so Cindy's coming up on a split for the Golem fight.
If the next game wants to go ahead and do a quick introduction, we have a few seconds right here in between.
Do a quick introduction. Hello, I'm one of the World of Final Fantasy commentators. My name is Dave Bobbington III. Kawhi.
Oh, nice. Nice to meet you, Dave Bobbington III.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm Kawhi.
Hello, Dave.
And as you can see, Rhoda Moda just started his run 2 minutes ago. And he's going through the tutorial bits of the game for now.
And I'm another World of Final Fantasy commentator, Wody B.
Alright, so Tombi's now entering into Memoroa once again. If he gets hit in any way, it's going to be game over for him. I don't think he has the armor to be able to live any of the hits. So we'll see how he plays this fight out. But
Yep.
once he gets past this, it is close to the end for him.
He's gonna need our energy.
Yeah, please. Optimally, I think we'll see 0 lasers here. So when you die in a Memoroa fight, what happens is you can either restart from Memoroa or you go to your last save point, which is. Did we take an auto? I don't think we took a safety save. Did we
It
take a
does.
safety save?
The remaster auto saves.
Yeah, but the auto save is on. I think memory quiz actually. So if he wanted to, he could do memory quiz all over again, which. Not. I don't think that's really you want to do unless he's taken so many game overs.
Yeah,
It's
so
a very far save point.
He can do it. He's just going to have to be very cautious and
Okay, there's first phase down.
try and predict the lasers coming down.
Okay, so this part should be okay for him. He's playing it extra safe here, it looks like.
So I was just away. How many Phoenix down does Tombi have?
0.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really scary for him right now. He's playing it super safe. I think Clava can actually do a very similar fight to Lil T. Where you can walk out, focus attack. But I can see he's like not attacking, especially here. Sometimes when you attack, the white laser can hit you for no reason. For example, in the Selkie fight, on the white lasers, if you start charging your focus attack before he does the white laser, you can get hit by it. If you start charging your focus attack after the white laser, you don't get hit by it.
I don't know about you guys, but I am so nervous for him right now.
I am sweating.
I mean, this is a clinch I'm all too familiar with in my practicing. Like, this boss is just
He
intense.
dodged that laser though.
He's
It's
actually getting
scary.
not getting too many dangerous attacks.
It's scary, but it's extra scary with 0 Phoenix Downs. Just because you know, like, when you game over, you have to do the fight all over again. And it's hard with 60 strength, too. Just because I think Mana had a 3 cycle.
Here,
You gotta
if he
do
gets
this.
good luck.
Yeah. You gotta do this at least 2 times. And if you get hit by any single one of them, you have to start the entire fight over again.
Because of the way the white lasers and him being extra cautious, he's going to 3 cycle this fight probably.
Most likely. White lasers are better than black lasers. It's a little bit faster. But just due to the safety, I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be 3 cycle. Hopefully no more than 3 though.
Yeah. Sydney on her way to meet Jeff here in a minute.
Everyone say hi to Jeffrey. Soon.
Yeah, not this stream, but the next one.
The next one.
What's the name of that? The other area that where they live? Those where the car is that what they're called?
Magmel.
Mag
Magmel.
Mel. Yeah,
Magmel,
you're right.
yeah. We don't go there.
Yeah, that's one of the other, not dungeons, but it's like a little town, village, I guess. And only the carbuncles, that's what Jeff is. That's the only things that live there. They also give more story, but you have to like visit them often.
Yeah.
Because they're like sleeping there or something, so you kind of wake them up. Every fist that comes down for Tombi, my heart skips a beat.
Dude,
Yeah,
don't,
if any of
speak,
those hit him, he will die.
don't speak that into the world.
Okay, cool.
I think he's going to be able to
alright.
phase it here. Yeah. He should be okay if he can keep his focus.
Die.
4, 5.
Die.
We're all over here being quiet, like hoping that that'll help him.
Yeah,
Hey, he made it through!
let's
Woo!
go!
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Oh,
Tombi's time is coming up in about 3 minutes, so if Team Moogle wants to get ready, now is a good time to kind of brace yourself and get ready to start.
Yeah, that was actually seriously impressive. Like
That was.
I can't do
Yeah,
that.
no,
I can't
like
do that without
we
like,
can't reemphasize
amazing.
enough. We were all just over here like, oh god, oh god, oh god.
yeah,
Yeah,
if we're
not
sweating,
good.
I can only imagine how much Tombi is sweating right now.
That is a great example of what you do not want to find yourself in a marathon or a relay.
Like you saw how many lasers I got hit by, right? Tombi was able to
Yeah.
dodge every single one, and he had
Yeah.
to, or he would have been
Amazing.
screwed. So
Yeah.
Right.
So great
Incredible.
fight from Tombi.
Ooh.
I know he's been
and
putting
he
a
didn't
lot of
even
work
use
in.
any pausing either, because you can kind of open the menu to pause
Yeah.
the game and collect yourself, collect your thoughts, and kind of
Here
react.
comes Jeff.
But he just didn't even bother.
Everyone say hey to Jeff.
As soon as it loads. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeffrey.
All right.
Why are you running away? I just
Oh.
want to be friends.
All right. So
All right. After time, World of Final Fantasy, you'll have a lot to be able to talk about. We won't have much to say until Sydney's Mount Valinge RNG, and then we won't have a whole lot to say past that until she gets closer to the end.
All right. Well, we didn't want to like interrupt you because seemed like a very tense ending.
It was. Thank you.
Very tense.
Right here, we have time. It's going to be coming up in just a second. He's going to hit the meteor parasite, do the final cutscene, and then when he selects his final artifact, will be time. About 20 seconds. If y'all want to say something.
That's a little longer than 20.
Well, for those of you who don't know the game World of Final Fantasy, in this game you will see a lot of familiar faces from the previous Final Fantasies, both like characters and also little creatures like chocobos, the tomberries. They're all back, and in this game you're gonna catch them and make them fight for you, pretty much.
Yeah.
Final
It's like-
Fantasy meets Pokemon.
Yes. It's Pokemon if it was also Final Fantasy nostalgia.
That's
Pokemon were better.
Time.
All right.
Time for Tom Beat. Sorry. There.
There
Sorry.
we go. GG Tomby.
Yep.
Yeah, just want to say, GG, I've never felt more tense over a run I had absolutely no idea what was going on over.
I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Very Sydney, she had no luck with the +5s, but she's gonna muscle on anyways. And also, it seems all three of our runners, that first chest was empty, which is very odd to get, but we somehow had that.
All right.
Never doubt RNG giving you a good show when you're doing a live event.
Right?
All right. So Sydney's gonna pick up the rest of the strength artifacts. I think everyone else also picked these up to hit at least 60 strength. I didn't get a chance to see how much Sydney was at. Oh, I missed it again. So, World of Final Fantasy.
Right. So as I mentioned before, you're gonna like capture these creatures, right? But the unique thing in this game is that you can actually make them stack on top of each other. So you can have like 3 different creatures just sitting on top of each other and working together. And if you have multiple creatures, they also combine their stats. So we kind of want like a maximum amount of things. They are called mirages in this game to fight for us. So in this first dungeon that Rhoda is in, he has to capture 2 of them, and whether they show up or not is RNG. So hopefully he doesn't get unlucky today.
Yes, welcome to the joy of World of Final Fantasy running. It is, unfortunately, once you have a decent time, a little bit reset heavy at the beginning, because not only do we need 2 mirages from this, the Nebula Nether, I believe it's called. One of the encounters we need, one of the mirages we need, is from a rare encounter.
Yeah, it's the floating eye. It only
Yes.
appears in one specific encounter.
Yeah, and crazy part is the floating eye encounter also includes the iron gnome, or just the gnome, or
The
golem,
copper
that was
gnome,
a good name.
Oh, there's the
Uh,
copper gnome, so that's a good thing for him.
Copper gnome, that's what it was. I was like, my brain always forgets the name of it.
So,
Yeah.
the way you catch things in this game, everyone will have a prismtunity, and
Good.
that is
Good job.
an opportunity to imprison them. Luckily, the way you get Copper Gnome is by attacking it, and once you reduce its health, you can capture it. The floating eye encounter, you need to kill everything else in the encounter, and then the floating eye can only be the only enemy remaining, and then you can throw your proverbial Pokeball at it.
Yeah, and throughout the game, you won't see it as much here because we don't capture that many mirages. We capture most of them in the beginning of the run, and then from there it's all execution heavy.
Mhm.
But if you play this game casually, you'll find that a lot of mirages are going to have other requirements that aren't just like hit them. It might be like use their weakness, use their element of their own type, or throw an item at them, which you actually get a glimpse of that later. Another mechanic in this game are these puzzle switches you'll see kind of throughout that require certain stacks of these, they're called Pokemon mirages, to trigger the switches to progress.
I'm also just going to take this time. Crystal Chronicle, guys, if you need to take over to like commentate on something real quick, just holler at us.
It's like
I think most of the fight for Meteor Parasite is going to be very similar here. You might see a couple strats that are a little bit different, but nothing that's not self-explanatory. The focus attack here is different since you jump in and hit them twice.
Okay.
But you can
So
see
Rhoda actually got his floating eye here.
Oh,
Which-
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice
It's
because it's the one that you want.
Yeah,
This
this
fight-
looks RNG in the favor.
Yeah, this fight can be a bit trolly. The floating eye's first attack will confuse one of the characters, and if you're unlucky enough, it can confuse again when floating eye is the only one remaining. And what I've had is, considering this is a rare encounter, the second confuse attack hits Lan. Lan hits the floating eye, crits and kills it. And probably not a worse feeling in WoW speedrunning, unfortunately.
It'll
It
make
is,
you indeed very sad.
it is tragic. Did Woody perhaps want to explain why the runners have been opening the map sporadically? Open and closing it very quickly.
Yeah, of course. You're actually going to see a lot of this at different points. So you'll notice the runners will open the menu here and there. The reason we do that is if you notice those dialogue boxes in the bottom left corner where the characters are talking on the overworld, opening the map will actually force progression of those conversations, because this game does make you listen to some of these conversations in their entirety, or like you have to get through them entirely before it'll let you move on. So you'll notice that there are points where the characters may literally stop moving and they're just waiting for this dialogue to finish. You'll see it actually on Hab's screen here at some point, where he has to basically wait for it to finish, and then it will progress on from there. So we open the menu, close it really quick to force that progression.
Yes, it's a wonderful little trick that I don't believe we know about. We knew about until Kawhi watched a JP runners run.
Yes, I saw him
believe.
just randomly open the map, and he actually commentated the entire run. So it was in his notes that it would skip voice lines, and it seemed a lot faster. So we just took the same strategy.
Which is great, because there is a part where we have to open it 20 times to progress a scene.
Yes, so this game has one break, and it is what top left team Mog is currently going through. There is a big ol' anime cutscene at the beginning of the run, and it's 4 minutes long, I think, 4 or 5 minutes long. It's the
It is
only
pretty long, yeah.
It's the only break in the run. We used to have the minute and a half when traveling, but because we can now skip dialogue lines quicker, you, as Woody just said, you open and close your menu 20 times to say 40 seconds. So this is now officially the only break we have.
Yeah, and fun fact, though you can't do this, for people who bought this on PS4 and before a patch was released, you actually could skip this anime cutscene in prior versions, but a patch came out that actually made it unskippable later on, which is required if you run it on PS4 to be on the latest patch.
It's actually a good thing that they made it unskippable. I like the cutscene. I want my
me
little
too.
break.
I don't know, I quite like having my break, but when the break is like 4 minutes into the run, it's kind of pointless, you know?
It's still a mental thing. Like, yeah, this is your last chance to take your time.
Yeah, that's called before the run, normally. You got all the time in the world before then.
Chris, you don't use the power of anime to invigorate your run like shonen heroes?
I did most of my practicing for the relay offline, and I ran muted. I don't run games with audio offline. It sounds, especially when they're this. You will see during the relay that the runners will be using English voices, so we apologize in advance for any hurting of your ears that Tama does.
Oh, Tama's fine.
Tama is the reason why I run with Japanese voices. Normally I run with English. I'm not particularly bothered by dubs, but oh boy. Her voice is really the annoying, as the kids
Tama
would
is-
say.
Tama is a big reason why you should run Japanese in this game.
So we see Rhoda is here in this like goblin encampment area, or just encampment area in general. Basically, what's going on here is just moving on with the story. But this is where we find our second mirage that we're going to look to capture, the black knack, which is going to be very important for movement tech. You could say later in the run. So they are now looking for an encounter with a black knack, which could come in a few forms. There's the 3 encounter version, and then there's one where it could just appear as a solo amongst other enemies.
Right.
Another thing like this game has, most Final Fantasy games, as you know, have danger values. There is no like step ID in this game, but there is, as you run this game, you will find that you will notice you get the same encounters predominantly in the same place as you progress from map to map. Now, if you zone out, it does reset the danger value. So you could, when you leave a map, it goes back to 0 at least, so that does help if you get through the map. But you get an idea of like how many encounters you're going to get forced into when you reach the like splits or the boss battles of the area, to kind of gauge how many extra encounters you may need to farm.
Yeah, and I will specify that the encounters are not the same. It's just when they happen tends to be roughly the same. I used to believe that it was 100% consistent. The encounters would always happen at the same time, and your movement determined when they were going to happen. But then I realized the better I got at movement, that wasn't the case. In Nether Nebula, there is a chest you can get fairly early on to get the item to get past the Gimme Golem. And whether or not you get an encounter before or after the chest, unfortunately, doesn't matter on your movement, as I falsely believed and was proud of for a while. I'm like, God, I never get encounters until afterwards. This must mean my movement is really good. No, I just got lucky with where the encounter ended up most of the time. So...
Yeah, it's like somewhat consistent, but not entirely consistent. You give it like a few steps leeway, I guess.
Yeah.
Notice that with the Nether Nebula, there are times where like before you get to the puzzle, the zone with the puzzle, I've had like an encounter like right before, and then I've had times where there's no encounter before, and I zone without it.
Well, this might be the first instance where someone has to farm encounters. Let's see.
Yeah.
Potentially,
Yep.
yeah. It's
Because there's no black neck here.
So
He already reached the end of the path, so he needs to like keep walking around the circles.
Yep, so this
Team
would be
Sugar, that
actually
is.
a time for Team Mog to potentially catch up, depending on... Well, I guess Mog's got to farm a floating eye, so maybe not. They both might be farming for a little bit here.
So this is the feels bad bit of World of Final Fantasy sometimes getting a run going. Once you have a very, very top time, you do need all of the encounters in a reasonable amount of time. And if they don't show, they don't show. And because of the way this game works, you essentially need multiple mirages for abilities to get through areas. I'm not saying that it's basically HMs from Pokemon, but it's HMs from Pokemon. So they are just mandatory. There is no real way around it. If you don't find the encounter, you've got to run around in circles until you do.
Well, the good news is that Harp has found his copper gnome. So that's the first of all the mirages that he needs to find.
Very nice. One thing we didn't touch on is save points. So saving in the speedrun takes a couple seconds, so as you do the run, you'll know which battles pose the biggest risk of RNG danger. So saving won't hurt the run too much, but one thing we will do, and you'll see here, is we'll touch the save point because it actually full heals you. So a lot of times, like, you'll need to touch it just to make sure you're healed, at least early on. Later on, we'll get flee and like higher agility, so you'll find that your characters are going first before the enemy anyway when you get random encounters, and you'll flee instantaneously. So the damage you'll take from trying to flee won't be as much at that point.
Yeah, you will see later on as well that Black Choco Chick is possibly faster than Usain Bolt. That boy is so fast. He is magical. You get to see the true strength of his speed.
And speaking
once
of
he's
speed,
unstacked.
Chris, in chat, somebody's asking about the explanation of the Cry 3 method or Chris 3 method.
The crest method, yes.
Yes, should we explain this piece of tech we apparently didn't realize for years?
So, World of Final Fantasy doesn't have many runners. For some people, the game during battles, escapes, anything that involves fast forwarding, that would go considerably faster for some people over others. And for years, we just didn't know what caused it. I tried Googling it. A few of us had tried brainstorming ideas. Just couldn't find out how it worked, unfortunately. A few months ago, I decided, okay, I'm going to try and get to the bottom of this and figure out what is causing it to go faster. I had a chat with Sereth and a few other people, and Sereth's idea was it looks like 2 speed-ups are playing at once. So we were toying around with the idea of quitting out whilst using hold down to speed up and then changing it to toggle speed up and then hoping that it was 2. But that didn't work. And it turns out what it is, after 3 to 4 years of not knowing what was causing this fast patch, you press R3. Press R3 at any given time during the run. I will just say, Harb had a terrifying fight.
Yeah, I was also looking at it.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
I caught that out the corner of my eye, and one of them got confused whilst the other character was dead and 54 HP. Luckily, survived. Like all it took was an attack to crit themselves, and we were in all kinds of trouble there. But luckily, Harb does get the floating eye, so nobody needs to run around in circles for it. Unfortunately, we're still seeing Rhoda trying to grind for Black Knack. The little wolf doesn't want to show up today.
Yeah, and this is WAF speedrun sometimes in a nutshell. And this is where, for like marathon settings, this can definitely, or race settings, because short enough run races are pretty popular. That can really turn the tide when you have to farm a bunch of encounters.
Mm-hmm. One thing we haven't talked about is the battle that Harp is doing right now. He's fighting against Ramuh, but you can actually choose which of the summons that you fight. You can choose between Shiva, Ramuh, and Ifrit. And basically, the main reason why we choose Ramuh is because we have the Channel Earth attack, which he is weak to, and I think Ifrit is also weak to Earth, but he just has more HP and defense. So if you have to choose between those two, then Ramuh is just the one that's easier to kill.
Yes. And sorry, I did interrupt myself talking about it for a bit. So what's happening with the double fast forward thing is it is 2 fast forwards playing at once. So if you hold down R1 or toggle R1, I think almost all the runners hold it down, the game will run faster. R3 is another speed up that stacks on your normal one, so they both run at the same speed normally. It's not explained in the game. It's never mentioned in tutorials. It's not mentioned in like controls or anything. I think it might be like a dev tool that was just accidentally left in the game. I don't see what else it's there, or like short of being some bug or something. And yeah, so also because I found out, I think Wodi's chat came up jokingly with calling it the Crest method, so CHR3S. But the official name for it is the faster forward. I just want to point that out pretty clearly.
Yes.
Very much.
That was a joke made by my community.
Yes, very much memeing.
I gotta say, Team Mog might be able to, depending on
catch up.
Their luck with the Black Knack capture there, they might be able to catch up. This is some impressive RNG luck happening here.
Yeah, they're about to enter the same area in a little bit.
Well, I mean, hashtag team close race, am I right, boys?
Yep.
For sure. And you might think, well, is it even worth it to like wait this long for Black Knack? The short answer is yes.
Yes.
Because we need it. And it makes us walk faster as well, and avoid a lot of encounters later on.
Yeah, because we're going to take advantage of, and we can always touch on this again when they get to it, but we're essentially going to transfig. So the Mirages, just like, evolving Pokemon, can be evolved into different forms. And one of the forms that the Black Knack can take on is a Fenrir. And the Fenrir has an ability called Joyride, which will allow us to ride the creature and move faster. And so this allows us to progress much quicker versus running on foot.
Okay.
And plays a very catchy jingle when you do it.
Yeah, each Joyride actually has its own unique music, I think. So.
Oh, I'm only used to Fenrirs. I haven't played this game casually in forever.
You should use the Mecha Chocobo. It's lightning fast.
Unfortunately, Rhoda is still looking for the Black Wolf. It is
Yeah, it's kind of a tragedy. There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, it shows up in 2 different encounters, I believe. There's a formation where there's 2 of them, and there's a formation when there's 3 of them, and it's...
I think there's another one where I've seen it on. I've got an encounter where it's on top of one of the goblin warriors, and I've had to knock it off of them.
Oh, I haven't seen that one personally. I know the one where there's one solo Black Knack. Oh, there they are. 3 of them.
Hey,
There they are, finally. Okay, so Choco does get to stay in the lead. Thank God.
Oh man, but look, the double smash hit 1 twice.
Yeah, so what you want to happen there, double smash is an attack where basically 2 attacks go off random, and you want them to both hit 2 different knacks separately. And that way they go down to almost dead, but not entirely, and then you can catch them immediately. The bad scenario is they both hit the same character, and it dies, and then you have to unstack and then hit them.
Oh, and Harp got his Black Knack really quickly.
Oh, I've got his knack already. All right, well, I mean, that's...
He's even at the end of the area, and he already has it, so it's really nice for him.
Yeah, we may see some potential catch-up, depending on how the Cockatrice wants to be today.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the first split incoming, I think.
Yep, this is the first split, Big Goblin. There's a lot to say about this boss. You basically kill it down. We're going to get to see just how overpowered items are in this run. And boy, are they. Just wait for him to throw the Earth Hammer and you can see how much damage it does. We also need to kill off Lan, so Rain gets all of the experience.
Yeah, Chris, you want to touch on how experience is deviated up in this so I can make sure I split on time?
Go on, Kawhi. I'll let you take this one, buddy.
Well, basically everyone in the battle gets the full amount of experience, and if one stack dies, then the other stack gets their experience, so they get 100% of the experience. Everyone on the bench gets 8% experience, I think. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but they get a small amount. But if they are low enough, then they will get a boost. So if they're 10 levels behind.
I'm sorry, I just want to cut in because this is our last chance to say this. If you watch on Team Tomberry, Sydney fighting Rom right here, this is the more classic strategy here where you're just running in and out, doing a triple attack each time. And it's almost kind of mesmerizing to watch. It's one of those things where the boss is really hard casually, and then you look up, how do I beat this? And you're like, oh, it's completely trivial. Just kind of a funny thing to watch.
Yeah, Tomby used this strategy earlier, but unfortunately he pressed A1 bit too early and ended up auto-attacking the minion, and then it pulled the minion out of position, and then he was having to juggle that the whole time.
We are going to have to button one more time when the final boss, because there are some Selkie-specific strats there that we are going to have to gloss over.
And in the bottom left, we just saw Rhoda capture the Black Choco Chick. Low-key one of the MVPs of this run. Super fast little boy. And also shows you the power of friendship in this game. The friends you made along the way in the journey there. You don't capture that one by attacking it or reducing its health or anything like that. You throw it potions and heal it. And then he wants to become your friend. You know, insert vague thing about smiley faces here.
don't even think he's Loki the hero. He's like by far the hero.
Yeah.
He also has an
Our-
ability that's called Unstacked Haste, which gives
Yeah.
him haste whenever you unstack. And it makes him really, really fast, because he's already fast by default.
The powers of friendship and anime.
Yes.
The Team
okay,
Mog had a
Hob.
dicey battle there.
Yeah, I was a bit worried there. Hobbs' stack started wobbling. That's what you can see when it starts shaking back and forth, and the ATB only just made sense. If Rain had missed Big Goblin, which can happen there, that would have been a bit of an F, as the kids say.
Yeah, wobbling's dangerous. So in this game, like when you get hit with certain abilities, you may find yourself like you're wobbling, and if you keep getting hit, you'll fall over, and it ends up stunning everybody in place, which is bad. There's a battle later on where that becomes a problem, as we've all experienced, and if the RNG plays the way it wants to, then yeah, but the RNG plays the way it wants to, and you get stunned and pretty much can't do anything about it unless you have wobble stoppers.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before the run as to whether runners are going to pick up wobble stoppers, and I believe we are. In any percent currently, the route we don't, but I think that's slowly changing over because there's a few battles later on where if you don't have any wobble stoppers, it's a little bit monk-ass, as the kids would say. Also,
Yeah, definitely.
just to
Oh, sorry. One quick thing.
Go on.
Last thing I probably want to chime in here is this is our last chance to get a 2-cycle in the relay on this last boss. So hopefully that can happen. Fingers crossed.
yeah, I
So-
believe.
As Memoa descends, there's two very different strats. On the laser, because you have time to actually stop attacking and defend, you can do that to just backflip through the lasers. The first one with like the ground one, the one that Tombi and Manaclaw were struggling a little bit on. And then on the second phase, you also see a different strat. Instead of running back and forth, you can actually just sit right in the space and backflip through the black lasers. The white ones, you don't need to move, so you can also attack him through it. But as I said, you want to focus attack after he fires the lasers. Otherwise, the lasers will hit you. No? Okay, Cindy says that we're flipping.
Yeah, one thing to point out. Sydney, due to RNG, like artifact RNG, nothing in her control, she is one tier of strength lower than ideally would hope. So technically the 2-cycle is possible, but you have to be like totally on point. So
That and get a lot of good luck from the boss because you can DPS better from white lasers.
true.
So if the boss drops a lot of white lasers, then it's just gonna help her out.
Sydney's got 9 Phoenix down. Should definitely be in a good spot for this fight.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was the main reason I wanted to say like let's hope for a 2-cycle, simply because, what's his name, Manaclaw. He was only like one hit away, but with the lesser strength, it's more of an issue. And then Tombi had the whole I need to be super careful because I'm out of Phoenix down sort of thing. So was hoping this might be a good opportunity though. I didn't realize she'd had the worst artifact luck to have only 60 strength even with Master's Weapon. So
Guess they missed,
We'll see.
I know they
Best
missed
luck.
the Masamune. I guess they got +2 on all the other ones then.
oh, that's right. I forgot that she just went on without Masamune. Yeah.
You can hit 65. There's a chest on the very left side that's super out of the way that you can get to hit 65. I don't think Sydney got that one. Just because it's sometimes it's just not worth it. Because there's so much stuff, there's so much other things that to
it's
do.
only worth it if you're not going to be at 60.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And sometimes it might not even be worth it then. But
Yeah. And well,
can
it's
get
also well, I say also, but what I mean is separately. With Selkie, I think it's a little bit easier to just get more hits in safely during these cycles compared to Lil T, at least, and probably Clavet also.
Well, because your focus attack hits twice as the with the Master's Weapon on Selkie, so that's already like 1 extra hit as opposed to Clavet. There you can see the backflip that just goes right through the laser, but the Clavet only has like the 1 projectile, and then Loti has the weird jump in thing. So there's the first phase, third phase, something like that. Now,
Yeah, this is
moving on
the
to phase
second
B.
cycle. Or is this
cycle.
3? Yeah, I thought it was
phase B, second
right?
cycle.
okay,
Right.
sure. And hopefully we should be seeing the game end here, but it could be possible that we go to the third cycle. However, this Selkie does get a bit of extra hits in.
Yeah.
There it is, a 2 cycle.
I don't want to. Okay, great. I was gonna say I don't want to set the wrong expectation because this is like with 60 strength is difficult. So that's actually more impressive. Very well done, Sydney, to get the 2 cycle in. Bravo for that. Brava, actually.
If Sydney could have gotten very lucky and gotten the gotten 2 Masamunes, that would have pushed her over 70 strength, and she possibly could have tried for a 1 cycle at that point. But
all right,
That's
so time
pushing
should
it.
be coming close. We'll call out
About
time.
3
but if,
minutes from now.
Roll to Final Fantasy, smiley face.
As they are about to enter the new area, the Icicle Ridge, this is the first time we actually go back to the beginning area, and it's to unlock the shop. That's where we get our OP items. Does any of you want to explain how the items work in this game?
I'll let Woody take that.
Great.
Real quick, am I supposed? I do apologize. Are you asking me to hit time when you yell time? Or
Sure, we can do that.
Oh, it's.
oh well, I
nothing.
just sorry. I
Oh.
do apologize.
They'll be calling time
I
when
just
Tonberry
have
can
a
go.
strange
I'll
feeling.
click it since it's still Crystal Chronicles.
Oh, right,
alright,
okay.
yeah. I'll
Yeah. No worries. Just I do apologize if I misheard. All right. Talk about items. What did y'all, Kawhi?
Would
Right,
you like to
so-
explain? Yeah, quite. Just explain the items. Be the hero.
Okay, I'll do it. Well, we use a lot of offensive items in this game, and the items are not affected by stats at all. So not by attack, not by defense. The only thing they are affected by is elemental weaknesses or elemental resistances. And there are basically 3 different levels. You have the smallest items, which will do 750 damage. You have the medium items, which will do 1500 damage, and you have the big AoE damage items, which will do 3k to everything. So right now we can only buy the beginner items, so they do 750 each.
It looks like the
But the majority of the run we'll use the lightning marbles, which will do 1500 damage to enemies, regardless of level that you are. So that's pretty nice.
It's also elemental weaknesses come into it as well. So we buy a bunch of lightning marbles throughout the run, which are obviously lightning affected. But when you throw that at an enemy who is weak to lightning, it doesn't do 1500 damage anymore. It does 2250.
Okay, time coming up here in just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and with
Other
the
points. Here it comes,
As soon as
and
the artifact is selected.
time.
And it's time.
Brainbugged, go.
Well, for the Crystal Chronicles remastered crew, this is Boss Hugger. I want to say thank you all so much for letting us come on and yap in your ear holes for a while. This was a whole lot of fun. This is an awesome event, and best of luck, everyone.
Best of luck to the rest of them.
Good
Thank
games,
you, and
everybody.
Thank you for your commentary.
GG's. Good luck.
One big reason why we actually had to suicide one of our stacks in the big goblin fight is for the black choker chick to hit level 8 here. Because if you hit level 8, you will have enough SP to learn Flee. Which basically means that whenever it's the choker chick's turn and you want to escape from a battle, it's 100% guaranteed. And because you will get several battles in the game, or like a lot of battles,
Let me guess.
it's just nice to escape as fast as possible.
Give us a hint? You the betcha.
Yeah,
very much good candy.
there are many JRPGs where fleeing is not guaranteed, and frankly, it may as well not be in the game because of how rare the escape chance is. Thank God, flee in this game is 100% chance. You just click escape with the character with fleet, and then you immediately get to run away.
Yeah, these ice puzzles that Rhoda is going through,
Thanks indeed.
they also kinda are similar to like the Pokemon puzzles, right? Pretty sure they're also in those games where you sliding over ice.
Ice Cavern.
Have we got the point across yet
There's no way to
that
turn
this game is like Pokemon? I'm not sure.
I'm trying to like point out another similarity.
Well, actually, one thing we can kind of point out, because it was happening a bit earlier, towards the end of the Crystal Chronicles run, but we mentioned that this game is kind of like a lot of nostalgia, so I don't know if anyone caught a little bit before the Icicle Cave, Yuna had appeared. So you'll actually see throughout this run a lot of Final Fantasy characters over the course of the series. What's kind of funny is for pretty much every battle where you're forced to fight them, you can't win those battles, so they're all pretty much battles that you need to lose in. And so you either attack yourself, you try to escape, you do whatever you can to get the enemy their turn so they can one-shot you. I always thought that was kind of interesting, that you can't win against the Final Fantasy heroes you fight.
Yeah, that indeed like are a few scripted deaths in the game.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny when you play it for the first time, because you actually try to beat it and they just one-shot you and you sit there and kind of cry, you know?
Yeah. feel bad about your life decisions up until now.
But yeah, Team Mog and Team Choco are actually pretty neck and neck. So one battle of wonky RNG could definitely turn the tide between those two teams.
Yeah, and it's not like there's a lack of it in this game. I say that we have gotten to the point of the run where it's pretty consistent for an hour, up until Terror and Madeline later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good thing that they already like called all their mirages. That's certainly the biggest RNG factor.
Unfortunately, Brainbug still has to do it. So
I believe in it.
We also get to watch the opening cutscene again.
It's more animal.
Woo!
So in the bottom left, for Team Choco, you're about to see Rhoda start his Grand Fenrir fight. He's going to fire or kill 3 of the White Knacks and leave 1 alive, so they can't be recalled later on. Now he's going to start chucking bomb fragments that do 750, because this is one of the weaker items. Also during this fight, you want Rain to die, so he's going to have to kill her off beforehand.
Yep, that's a clean suicide.
Yeah.
That's because you want all the XP on Black Neck.
Hey, stop running!
Yeah, that is about as good a fight as you can ask for, really.
Yeah, really clean.
There is a slight chance after here, I believe it's a 1 in 16, when you're at low health after the fight and you will 100% get a random encounter, you can get ambushed here.
Yes, and if you get ambushed here and you die, you get teleported back to Ninewood Hills and you have to run through the entire Icicle Ridge again.
Yes.
Which is
You don't
unfortunate.
have to fight Grand Fenrir again, luckily.
Let's go after him.
Yeah, luckily. That is a big upside.
Yeah, there's also another mechanic in this game is the dying. So, like it was just said, like if you were to die, you would just get kind of pushed back to Ninewood Hills, and you just go back to where you were. There are specific parts, usually against boss battles for the most part, where if you die, it is an actual game over, which is where the safety saves and being cautious come into play for that.
Yeah, some of the fights later on do get a bit scary.
Yeah, if you pay a little attention in those fights, you can see a lot of random red swords around the edges of the battle, and that means that you cannot escape from it, as in, like, if you die, then it's game over. And I think lore-wise, it's because Tama can't bring you back. Because Tama's the one that revives you, right? I think.
Yes. Oh god, it's been a while, man. I believe so, yes. So now we can see
Tama's the guardian angel.
we can see Harbon, Grand Fenrir, and Rhoda about to go into the castle. Another slightly scary fight. I did talk about the run being consistent from here on in, having forgotten about the next upcoming fight for Rhoda in the bottom left. You unstack and throw 8 electro marbles. The problem is that Black Knack has to live.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure you only have 1 Phoenix down right here.
Yes.
So if he gets killed twice, then it's not looking so hot. But the chances are really small, so just don't get unlucky.
Yeah. He pretty much has to hit Black Knack and then crit. Yeah, didn't happen. We good.
Also, Harp just finished Grand Fenrir with 26 HP, if I'm not mistaken. Which looked a little bit sketchy, but you know, he's alive.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
I'm fine.
T-Mog's just trying to
Thank
keep
you.
keep everything on the edge of the seats.
If ever you didn't want an ambush coming through here.
Oh, he
Okay,
potioned.
there isn't an ambush.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he potioned. Okay. Thank God.
Probably a wise decision when you're that low.
I was briefly concerned.
Yeah, and after the first encounter, Raffia actually like heals you again. So that is nice, but if that was an ambush, then you would have been dead already. So
Yeah. In the bottom left, we can see Rhoda is now asking around town for a ship because you need to travel overseas, but for that, of course, you need a ship. This is a Final Fantasy game. You get a ship before you get the airship. Everybody knows that. They're the rules. You can't argue them. You get boat and then an airship. So we're trying to find a ship. Now, we're the good guys. All of our morals are good because this is a Final Fantasy game.
Sure.
So how do we find a boat with our good morals and good intentions?
you kill everyone you encounter.
You kill everyone you encounter along the way to there, and then you try and steal one.
I know.
Yeah,
Of course.
that sounds
How
about
else
right.
would we do it? Is there another way to do that?
No. You are forced into slaughtering the local population and then commandeering a boat for yourself. But it's fine because they're pirates, so it's okay.
Of course. Now, I know probably some people in chat are wondering, what's the story of this game? Middly, it's pretty straightforward. Rain and Lon have lost all their memories, and they've been told by Enna Cross to venture on this journey to collect mirages in hopes of finding their lost family and their lost memories. Doesn't get more crazy than that.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
And on that note, Rhoda on the bottom left, he is doing like a kind of a decently sized menu. We're starting to see some things, but first of all, joyriding! We get to see Grand Fenrir. We're going to be riding on him for the rest of the game. Running on him is much quicker, and I believe even the encounters are more spaced out once you're inside of Grand Fenrir as well.
That's
on
correct.
top of even, not inside of. That would be odd.
That wouldn't
We're
indeed
not
be,
that small. Like he
very
can't consume us.
I mean, if we are in a small form, we are not that big. I think he could if he wanted to.
You reckon? Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, Rain is still tall though, right?
I mean, when they're in giant form, they are, but you know, when they're small form,
But-
I wouldn't want to like 1v1 a Fenrir if I'm mini Rain.
But luckily, we don't have to worry about that because we are allowed to just ride atop Grand Fenrir instead. Also, every area has a gimmick, and this one is cannons and raising and lowering water levels. For the one where Harb and Rota are currently on.
Mm-hmm. And the one ability you need for those cannons is a sizzle. As you can see, every time you use a cannon, our cockatrice just comes out and, well, he lights the fire. And then,
Yes.
kaboom, you get shot.
Blammo.
Cockatrice is the mirage we capture during Pyre Glow Forest. As I said, they all end up being super useful and mandatory because of things like Sizzle. If you don't have Sizzle here, you just can't progress. You have to walk back and go and get a mirage that has Sizzle.
Yeah, and you actually have to have it for the icicle cave. Is actually where it's required.
Oh yeah, you have to like melt an ice block there, right? Because otherwise you can't even advance.
Yeah, The game even like tells you like when you walk was like, oh, if you don't have sizzle, then you'll need to go back and find it.
Yeah, there's a line which is like, but where are we going to find a fire mirage here? Well, certainly not here. Like, the game is basically shoving a sign in your face and being like, yeah, you gotta go back, buddy, if you don't got one of these yet. In the top right for Brainbugged, he is now approaching Nether Nebula. He now has the not enviable task of finding a floating eye. It's the last runner who'll need one. Both other runners found one without having to grind encounters. So, hoping Brainbug can also find one.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about what happened with. So it looks like Rhoda had some trouble getting past one of the gimme golems. I don't know if I don't believe we touched on it, but there are these golems that you have to give a very specific item. So of course, these chests are routed into the run because we have to get these items, and it looked like we had lost track of, or we didn't have the item, so we had to relocate where it was. But yeah, you need that item, or you can't get past these golems, and so you can't actually move on with the level.
Yeah. Gimme golems are basically the game's way of saying we've made a lovely area. Now go and now go and explore it. Oh,
you got the dream
finds
encounter.
the rain encounter already.
Oh, man.
My lord. Okay, that's very good. So he doesn't even have to find Copper Gnome in a different encounter.
Yeah, that's the dream encounter right there.
That's the
The best you can get.
absolute dream.
Ooh, but that counter.
Should still be.
Oh, that's a confused.
Oh, it's again. Okay, no, we're fine.
Okay.
So the worst thing that can happen there, I touched on this earlier, is you can get confused, and then instead of one of the twins attacking themselves, they attack the floating eye, who then crits and kills the floating eye. And I was very worried, because if that's ever going to happen, it's going to happen in a marathon. But we didn't have it, and Brainbugged is now set for mirages.
Yeah, Mirage looks actually been pretty good for the relay. I think Rhoda with the Black Knack has been. I was just say minus that.
Not around for 5 minutes.
Rhoda was running around in circles for like 7 minutes, but it's fine. Before we get to the next boss, I am just going to give a special cheeky little shout out to Brainbugged, the runner in the top right for Team Tonbury. I met him through Final Fantasy X-2 speedrunning, where he basically came along one day, saw the Hundo category, and went, oh, I can save time from this, and then made a new route that saved hours, that made 10-2 Hundo actually under 13 hours and very, very runnable. So I'm just going to give Brainbugged a cheeky little special shout out for that. I'm still grateful to this day. And in the bottom left, we have the Pirate Moogles now.
Yeah, they will die to one electro
The
model.
Thunder didn't kill, did it?
It
It
did
did not.
Does he not have...
He's missing the.
He may have. I didn't catch, but he may have forgot to get enhanced thunder in the menu.
Enhanced Thunder on yeah, the little definitely not Vivi thing.
Definitely not Vivi.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely not. Totally.
Definitely
Can't believe
not
it's not
Vivi.
Vivi. Can't believe it's not Vivi.
Oh, here's one of those scripted battles which you can never win. You can see it in the Rhoda's screen. You get one shot, boom. 1193 damage.
You have no chance of surviving.
Nope. Good old Ferris. Or is it Faris? I've never actually learned.
I haven't played that Final Fantasy, so I can't really tell you.
Well, it doesn't have voice acting, so it's one of those, like...
Yeah, that also doesn't help.
What's the actual enunciation for it, at the end of the day, kind of characters?
What's the enunciation for whom?
Faris.
Faris?
Is it Faris or Faris?
I feel like it was Faris. I don't know why.
I'm going to say Faris, but that's because I hail from below London in England, so the
Right.
A is always R. I think either are probably safe. Rhoda is now going through the thing we had earlier. This used to be a 1 minute 30 break, but it's no longer a break because you can sit there and open and close the menu 30 times, skipping the dialogue lines and saving yourself 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's actually quite a bit of time if you think about it. Like normally it's a 1:30, but you save 40 seconds just by like opening the menus so often.
Chat's consensus seems to be Faris, is what I'm gathering.
Well, from chat, we've got Faris,
I don't think it's
German
Faris.
A thing, Ferris, Nearis, Faris, wherever you are-is. This is why you don't ask Twitch chat things. Is Rhoda gonna do the menu? Okay, he's not. So
I wonder if Rhoda notices that.
does he still have enough electro marbles? I think he only has. It's fine. He still has 3 electro marbles, so he can electro marble and then thunder. And that's not going to quite be enough, but then the rest can be down by attacks. It's like a few seconds. Yeah. I think this is the last time it will really end up mattering anyway.
Okay, ready to go? Ready to go?
Someone want to take us through the shark-infested waters?
Alright, it's a nice little mini-game, and luckily, the sharks are always in the same position, so as long as you learn it once, then it's fine. If you actually run into them, you'll get into an encounter where you have to defeat 2 of the sharks. And you cannot escape from that, so you really don't want to, like, swim into it. Since the items you're buying, it's quite tight, right? So you don't have much leeway.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, money
yes.
routing in this game is very tight, as I've learned firsthand with mistakes.
Yeah. Luckily, it's also super consistent because out of the transition, you can just hold R1 and it's all sped up and they fly up and down for a little bit. And as long as you do that, you can just swim in a completely straight line.
Yeah, like in the back of my mind, I know it's safe, but every time I'm going through it, I'm still like hoping, okay, please don't hit me, please don't hit me.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, you know it's completely safe, but you're genuinely sat there IRL monk-assing, just in case something scary happens.
Looks like Team Tonberry is headed for in the area with the next Mirage that needs to be captured, so we'll see how the RNG luck fares for them.
Now, off we go. I know little about the world above.
Something's swimming around over there.
Rhoda should be coming up on another
I
one of
like the
our
look of
hefty
it quite a
shop
bit.
type moments where we go back to town and sell a bunch of stuff and buy a bunch of stuff to get us through the next like sequence of boss battles.
Yeah, this is also the shop where you unlock the next tier of items. So we can actually buy the lightning marbles and dragon skills here, which will do, which will have a base damage of 1500.
Take it away.
Yeah, tier 2 of items have now opened up, and this is what I was talking about earlier when these items do massive damage.
Well,
Well, 14 lightning marbles. I guess he didn't have enough money for the 15th. He has
It is 14.
Is it 14? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, no, you buy 14 and 20. Yeah, I thought 15 is
Yeah,
extra
14.
marbles.
Yeah, it's 14.
It's fine. I only have a 311. I can't be held to any standard.
Oh?
what is it?
So, Brainbugged in the top right, going to be looking for the Black Wolf. I believe he's on the second screen now. So, any encounter he does find will hopefully contain the Black Knack. Obviously, this is an enforced encounter. He got the worst case scenario where he got blinded. Luckily, blind in this game is kind of like FF9 blind, in the sense that it is sometimes just completely worthless, because you can attack through it fairly consistently.
Well, in FF9, the blind actually like sticks after the battle, but in this game, luckily, like you don't have any problems with it. The next fight, it's just gone.
Huh, I did not know that.
And I think if I'm understanding the question in chat was, I think they're asking about the Maximus. So for those who don't know, this game did have a lot of games, like a re-release, greatest hits edition, whatever you want to call it. There is a version of this game called Maximus. The content that Maximus adds to this game is predominantly all post-game, believe it or not. The only like new game content that it adds is the ability to hold more mirages, which we never push that threshold anyway with the ones we use. So playing it on Maximus versus non-Maximus doesn't affect the speedrun, because any of the new content is all past the it's new game plus content.
Yeah. Also, in the bottom right, where if you ever had trouble casually with Cerberus, we're going to do something which is probably quite annoying if you didn't know about it. You can escape from the battle, and you have iframes, and during those iframes you can just run straight through the enemy on the overworld and not have to fight it. So you can just run straight through to the chest, pick up the item that it was guarding, and then walk straight through again. Unfortunately, Brainbug also hasn't found the Black Knack. It is being very elusive today. So the circle strats start.
So, Tama, could you tell us more about...
But yeah, normally mirages come in 3 sizes. You have the small ones, you have the medium ones, and you have the large ones. Cerberus actually is
we got the
extra
neck.
large one. Oh, there's the Black Knack indeed.
Okay, thank God. He double smashed, and it also hit one only, so he now has to unstack and imprison.
But yeah, there are extra large mirages. They're called mega mirages that are kind of like summons that we're traditionally used to in other Final Fantasy games.
The next split is coming soon, by the way, because it's this boss battle, the Mega Red Dragon.
Everybody is approaching.
Everybody is at a split. All right, this is gonna be fun. All right, I'm gonna focus.
Oh, good luck, Woody.
So, Mama Dragon, it can be a scary fight, but not the way we do it. We Frigicite and then solid Frigicite, and that way it's not below half health when it has her attack. Oh, Flare Star!
Oh,
no,
okay.
that's exactly what I said could happen. Oh, and that's why we saved. Okay, yeah, the Phoenix down. All right, it didn't kill everyone. That's such a rare. Oh God, is it a rare encounter? I
haven't seen it in a while, so.
I think Rota's stacks might be wrong. Is the problem? Because they might not be, but I'm unsure if he did a switch earlier.
Did he? Because I was paying attention to the split. So did he do 1 Frigicite, then 3 solid Frigicites?
Yeah. He did the strat
Yeah.
properly. It's just Mama Dragon was very ever so slightly faster.
Yeah.
And got the Flare Star off, and Rain survived with 197 HP whilst Lan died.
Yeah, because normally you throw 2 items, then she gets a turn, and then you throw two items, and then she dies. But now, she got a turn after the 3rd item.
Just not sure Rota's stacks are correct. They might be, but that is such a rare encounter. That's such a rare chance of happening.
Well, we'll get to see another take on Mama Dragon. Since Hub is getting close to it.
Guess I'll see in the next battle whether they're correct. So Harb's coming up to it. Hopefully he doesn't also get Flare Starred. No, that looks perfectly fine from here. Rain's going to get her go beforehand.
Yeah, that's how the fight normally looks like. So. No Flare Star.
So the stacks right now is there should be Cockatrice
She
in
said her
for
town was
Lan,
north of
right?
here, didn't she?
He should have.
Should be Zapped Cockatrice Rain.
I think I can
Yeah, that's what it is. So it looks fine.
That is what it is. So he just genuinely got really unlucky.
Wait, no, it should be. I think his stacks are wrong. It looks like he should have Zap. Wait, yeah, Zap Cockatrice Rain.
Yeah, Zap Cockatrice Rain.
Yeah.
And then the other one is
Are you
Black
guys
Chocobo
seeing
Lon
this
Fenrir.
town?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what-
then it's just unlucky with the speed.
Oh man,
there-
that's so unlucky. Because of the shenanigans that happened earlier, and I don't seem to remember seeing a switch. I thought that maybe it was that, but apparently he just did actually get hilariously unlucky.
Unless there was a Mirage node missed, like during the menuing that we just didn't catch, like for
Alright,
agility or
place it,
something.
Now you're forgetting entire names?
Yes, this game with the routing, it's very tight on execution. So little things like missing a node, not having the right amount of items can definitely require a number of backup strats or a lot of time lost from just trying to fix whatever happened.
Also, a small little technique that Rhoda is using right now. He's using a teleport stone, which will teleport him back to the entrance of the cave. And
Think about cold things.
it's just a shorter route from the entrance to the cave to where he needs to be,
Wrong step.
instead of just like turning around from where he was to where he needs to be. So that's why teleporting there is worth it.
The teleport stone isn't like actually out of the way at all. It's right after Una. It's a chest that is in the way. It's a handy little stone to have.
Yeah, it actually saves you one encounter on that screen. If you don't use the teleport stone, then you will get an encounter before leaving it.
Well, there you go. Last bit of serious RNG for Brainbugs in terms of capturing now in the top right. He's going to have to try and find a Cockatrice. The Cockatrice will end up being evolved into a Veil 4. In the bottom left, we just saw Rhoda walk up to proc a tutorial. That is deliberate. You can avoid it there, but you do deliberately get it there, because otherwise, later on in the train graveyard, you'll have a really, really slow bit whilst a whole bunch of dialogue has to complete. And then after that, it'll proc the tutorial on how smashing works.
Why are you sneezing? It's like
Oh,
Yeah, I found
looks-
that out the hard way actually.
Looks like a brain bugged because got his Cockatrice. So
Yeah. So Hard
Nice.
actually didn't need to grind a single encounter. Rota spent 8 minutes grinding for the encounter. Again, none of it his fault. It's pure RNG, and Brainbug found his Black Knack after either 2 or 3 encounters grinded. Obviously, the Rota thing is nearing worst case scenario, but besides that, I'm pretty happy they all found the mirages
pretty happy.
they needed in due time, because that was one of my main worries.
Yeah, I think we all were like, oh, we don't know where this is gonna go. But I'll gotta give props to the Brainbug for he took the what I would call the hardest version of the Cockatrice to capture, the one that's stacked with the claw enemy there, because you have to like unstack it and it hits hard. Rhoda actually ran from that encounter earlier. I saw that. I was like, ooh, he's taking a chance by dodging that encounter and hoping for a better Cockatrice encounter.
Yeah. Koi and I did see that earlier. We were just hoping he wasn't going to get punished for it. And he wasn't,
then, yeah,
because
so paid off.
the next encounter he found was the Cockatrice.
For coming up with Team Choco there, the giant bomb battle. This battle can be iffy if not approached properly. So, like most bomb enemies in Final Fantasy games, they explode. So we're going to use 3 dragon scales, and then one person is usually taking damage by this point. That person is going to throw the item, but we need to make sure the other person has defended, because you will... Basically, the suicide will take you out if neither team is defending, and you have to do the one that has full HP to increase the chances of living.
Yeah, I think if you defend, you reduce the damage by like 50%, so that's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's press on, Lon.
The windswept Maya for Rotomotor down in the bottom left. I can't think of a more apt person to describe what's the gimmick of windswept Maya other than Kawaii.
I mean, the official gimmick in this area is that you can freeze the river to walk across it.
Yeah, but there's another one, isn't there, buddy?
Yeah, I vaguely remember one. There are some hidden spots in this area, which, if you touch them, and they are like right beneath right besides the normal path, you'll trigger an encounter, and you cannot escape from these encounters. So you really don't want to do that. But it happens to the best of us.
Also, something we actually haven't, something we genuinely didn't touch upon, which we probably should. King Bomb up now. His gimmick is that he self-destructs at the end of the fight. So he'll attack someone, and that person is basically just a sacrifice. They're now going to die, and the person at full health defends, and that's how you live through self-destruct, because it's a very powerful
I
spell.
talked about the mechanic.
Yeah, I think we already covered that already.
I completely missed it then, sorry. Completely
That's fine,
missed it,
Chris.
I was like,
sorry.
wait, is my mic off? Like, it might be.
No, it's just like a Chris problem where he doesn't like listen to anyone else but himself. So yeah, sometimes he
yes,
misses
yes.
crucial information.
Maybe we shouldn't go this way after all.
Look, someone dear to me is ill at the moment. I was texting them back, alright?
That's fair.
I
That's
missed it
completely.
completely.
It's completely fair. We got you covered. We got you covered. But hey, you know, what if somebody came in after I said it? So you know what? Double explanation never hurt
Exactly.
anybody.
Yeah, for the 50 or so people who came in after you explained, they needed that explanation.
Yeah, it made 50 people happy. Great job, Chris.
Exactly.
Yes.
And for those who didn't catch it, our buddy Snow from 13 has been freezing the bridges with the help of Shiva.
Wow. He said our buddy Snow, and he seemingly kept a straight face and everything. That's very impressive.
I'm
What's wrong with Snow?
I'm
He's the best.
smiling more than you would think.
Kawaii's profile picture on Discord has been Chibi Snow from World of Final Fantasy for how many years now?
I think for like the last 4 years or something. I just didn't bother to change it ever, so you know. Snow for the win.
He is possibly one of the only people in the world who defends Snow, seemingly, and he even does badly at that.
I don't mind Snow.
He
What
doesn't need
is
any
wrong
fans.
with you two? I'm so confused about your guys' life decisions right now.
I mean, I've learned that the majority of the people are always right, and it's 2 against 1, so you know. I think you're unlucky.
I mean, damn, when you put it like that, I have unfortunately been outwitted.
So we're coming to Choco down there in the bottom left, and Rhoda are coming to the desert dunes. Admittedly, I think there's a different name for it. I'm forgetting it. But these canyons, dunes area, they actually have a puzzle mechanic to them. Obviously, we're speedrunners. This has been routed to ensure accuracy every time and consistency. But playing it casually, if you go the wrong way, it actually makes you repeat the section. So you'll see that we're going to be going. If I remember correctly, it's left, left, right, left to ensure we get through the area in the fastest time possible.
Yes.
The gimmick of this place is that you have to walk into the sunset. So, wherever the sun is, you have to do that. Normally, in most films, when you walk into the sunset, that is the end. But luckily for you guys, there is a lot left of this run yet.
Yes, and we haven't even gotten to the fun part.
What's the fun part?
The tea house, the tea room stuff.
Oh, yes. That is a...
That's a pretty fun part.
It can be. It depends how Bahamut's... Yeah, it depends how Bahamut's feeling at the time, unfortunately.
Oh, man. I don't even want to talk about counting to 50.
Yes, if you cannot count to 50, then you unfortunately cannot do the speedrun, because it's mandatory.
When did we step into a
we'll talk about it. Yeah, learning. So I learned this run for the relay actually, and honestly, it's been a fun 2 months, kind of learning the run and enjoying it and kind of getting used to it because I do like my runs that are pretty RNG heavy at times, but also like a lot like basically not cut and dry. Like do this and then you're pretty much guaranteed for this to happen. Like there's always something that could go wrong at any point in time. A lot of times, and like working through that. So I've enjoyed this run a lot since learning it.
We have already seen. Okay, this is now fine. What Rhoda is facing the bottom left is sandworms, and normally a super simple fight. They both need 2 dragon scales each, and they die. And there is a super hilariously low chance that something can go wrong because they can swallow you an earthquake, and it starts to get a little bit dicey if you do that. It's a super rare occurrence, but we have already seen Flare Star from Mama Dragon. Like, yeah, just
I lost the run to the sandworms. They got
Yeah, I
me.
think once that happens, you're actually doomed. There's nothing you can do.
yeah.
So if you lose 1 stack, you know that's 50% of your people.
Yeah, a lot of things that can go wrong in this game, especially late game, you can recover if you think fast and appropriately react. Earthworms are... sandworms even are not that. You can just get unlucky.
I can also see that some people in the chat are asking why there was a Sephiroth theme for like 4 cats. It's because you can
Here's random.
choose your own battle music, pretty much. And because
I
Sephiroth is unlocked at the start of the game, you can change the battle music to Sephiroth music. Amazing.
Oh dear.
yeah, I forgot that. Like, because that's one of the menu options in the game that you can do that.
Yes, you actually have to do it in the run itself. You can't do it before the run, which is a shame, because otherwise I also would have done it. But...
Oh no! Look at.
Oh no!
Team
This
Og.
happened.
It's happening.
Okay, it's still not dead. He can still Phoenix down.
Okay.
But he did get unlucky.
Yeah, the thing actually happened.
He does have more Phoenix downs. And I think
Okay.
Cockatrice
Looks
does
like
need
Team
the
Mog
experience from
pulled it
this.
out.
Oh, we are having a delight.
Yes, we are. I'm looking forward to Bahamut. It's going to be amazing. Bahamut's going to be amazing. One thing we can touch on is what's happening on Rhoda's side of things in the I believe this is the prison from Final Fantasy VIII, isn't it? I mean,
Yep,
it
it's a
looks
desert
like
prison.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the desert prison from Final Fantasy VIII. There's Squall hanging out with everyone. So this part of the stage, we've actually had our mirages taken from us, and so we don't actually have them. So we have to pretty much dodge any encounter other than that one searcher battle, because we do need the searcher. But we have to dodge like all the other encounters, because like the battle to fight them, I've never been able to fight them on my own. Like if I had it happen accidentally, I've usually died because of it.
Yeah, if you get caught, you're 100% dead. You can't escape, and they'll just kill you.
Yeah, if you play casually, then you will imprison the first searcher and then actually make stacks. But because we are speedrunners, we don't make stacks here, and we just literally go with Lana Rain, and that's it. So they can't fight at all. With a stack, you actually have like a decent chance, I think. But as long as you don't run into anything, then there's no reason to fight.
Brainbug's just killed Grand Fenrir. He's choosing not a potion. Lan has about 120 HP, so an ambush up here is a bit scary. If he gets ambushed, doesn't get ambushed. Okay, we're fine now. We can just escape and move on.
He will get healed after this this battle. There.
No, it looks like Rafia didn't heal.
Oh,
Yeah,
she didn't
sometimes
heal.
Rafia will heal you, but it seems like it's like maybe one to two encounters after, I've noticed.
You can consistently get to the top here with one encounter, and then in the next screen, Refia heals you.
Yeah,
she does.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
there
I've
you
had
go.
happen.
Yeah, she's like, okay, doesn't matter anymore. So here you have my heal.
Yeah, I will say Team Mog and Team Chocobo are basically one one battle RNG away from things changing with how close
Yeah.
these two are.
So she's in the League of X.
As soon as we get to RNG battles, Mog can potentially
That's
take
right.
the lead.
She's an officer, in fact.
Wow.
And our boy Squall here likes the monologue, so you're seeing more of the opening the menu and closing it to make him keep talking.
Yeah. This, the escape from prison is one long section of running down and down and down. So there is just a lot of dialogue that is...
Yeah, you might think like the route through Desert Prison is pretty straightforward, but for the first few months that people have been running this game, they actually walked a different way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just doing my runs, and suddenly someone just told me like, okay, why don't you go there, there, and there? And they randomly just saved like 30 seconds. I'm like, So there's actually logic behind this. Because I was following the existing route back then. So I think that the first guy just went a random route and I just followed him, and then afterwards people actually found an efficient route. I think it was Seraph who actually found the current route, but I'm not entirely sure.
We're keeping in tune with our Final Fantasy nostalgia train here. This one actually threw me off for a while until I had to look it up. So Rhoda just ran into Shulk. For those who don't know, Shulk is actually from Dirge of Cerberus, the Final Fantasy spin-off / sequel-esque game for the PS2.
So, like, what's this job we're supposed to do?
Yeah, it's the shooter game, right? I think.
Yeah, it's the action adventure game. Or maybe not adventure, but action game with Vincent. Yeah, I had forgotten about it because I'd only played Dirge one time, and then when I played this, I was like, "Who is that?"
It looks like your powers have been suppressed.
In the bottom left, you can now see World of Final Fantasy's equivalent of the Pandemonium menu or S-Star menu or one of the very long FF menus.
Yep.
It's really not that Herculean, but it's all we've got. We're going to get a bunch of stats and abilities on different Mirages and then evolve some of them. We're going to go along Cockatrice's board and he's going to turn into a magical Veil form.
Now, enough talking.
Most of the abilities you get along when it's purely for the sake of evolving are for the most part useless. Don't think he's missing AP on anybody, right?
It should be fine.
Judging by that, because Cockatrice could evolve into Veilfor. So when he got Flare Starred on Mega Red Dragon or Mama Dragon earlier, that was genuinely just hilariously unlucky. Right? Sorry?
He Phoenix downed afterwards, right? So he doesn't miss any. He didn't miss any SP in the end.
Oh yeah. It was more just scary because normally, like, if Flare Star happens, there's like,
oh yeah, for sure,
like you've missed AP. Like doing everything properly and getting Flare Starred on that fight is, oh man, it's it super feels bad.
Yeah. And now that we have the Searcher, what's going to happen now is it's pretty much the Searcher is going to have to stay alive for every battle at this point in time that it can, because for a bunch of the in-game strats, we needed to hit level 44 by the end of the quote-unquote game, which you'll see what we mean when we get there.
Yeah, it's going to take a while, because right now it's still level 10, so
yeah,
it's a bunch of levels that it needs to get.
And once you've got a bit of a secondary lull, I'm just going to say huge representation happening right now for World of Final Fantasy. I'm glad you can all be here for this. I'm, despite all my memes, a big proponent of World of Final Fantasy. I do genuinely believe it is a great game, and fun fact, it is the first game I ever platted. But, never platted a game before this, just never bothered.
You know, every time you say you genuinely mean something, it's really hard to take seriously for some reason. If you just said it in a normal tone, it would have been fine.
You spend too much time in his stream.
You guys are just sat there waiting for the punchline, and I'm silent, like, no, this is one of my actual true opinions.
I actually really enjoy this game too. Like when I played it casually before I was ever a speedrunner, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. People I knew would like make jokes about it. Like, I don't know, I like the nostalgia. I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy fanboy. I'm not going to sugarcoat that in any way. I am. So, like, it's a fun game. I think most people should play it and enjoy it either casually. I will say casually and speedrun are totally a different experience with this game.
Yeah, I agree. But casually, it's indeed great. You see all the old characters back and all these creatures as well that you can catch.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to just try and collect all of them. Figure the inner workings of everything.
Also, a super fun gimmick for this dungeon. It's pretty hard to do most of the time consistently. You have to walk up to the reactors in order, and the only way you can tell what order to do the reactors in are the massive numbers painted on the side, and then the massive wires going from number 1 until the rest of them.
So does 3 come before 2 or after?
I think it would depend, and then depending on how good you are at maths, you can just argue that 2 comes after 3 anyway.
2 plus 2 equals fish.
And 5 plus 3 equals 9.
There's some very interesting maths going on there.
Oh man, I had heard about that from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Relay.
Oh yeah. This right here is our time to shine.
All right, let's see. Brainbug is doing the fun water puzzle on cannon firing segment, so getting through that section there.
Mm-hmm.
Did Harp just not flutter over?
I was
looking at Brainbug and Rhoda.
How are we both looking at Brainbug at the same time?
Well, because you mentioned him, right? So I just like...
Fair point.
What did you get from those chests? You get spellstones, didn't you?
Lightning spellstones, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
you do get
believe you
spellstones.
need those for the VV battle.
Did he get those and I just missed them?
He might have. I mean, he's the one that knows best, right? Probably.
Yeah.
So, anyone want to go back in the tape and check?
I'll trust he got them.
Right.
I almost certainly just missed it.
We should generally like when he gets the. I think if I remember correctly for the VV battle, I think you have either 2 or 4. I'm like blanking on it at this point. At 4, it should be 4 because the Gilgamesh thing's coming up, and I know you have 4 for that because you used 3 in that segment.
That's
So
true.
you should have 4. So if I know he'll probably go fast, but we can catch the number, we'll know.
In true Final Fantasy fashion here, also, we're blowing up a reactor and we've got 15 minutes to escape. 15 minutes is pretty tight. To be escaping, most runners will need about a minute out of the allotted 15 to escape, normally somewhere in the region of 50 seconds.
Well, at least we know how to imprison them.
Oh, he
I
gets the
know,
2 Hyethas there.
No, that chest was over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an optional chest, but if you want to take it, then.
Yeah, I mean, Hyethas are pretty good in this game. So, yeah, Rhoda needed 45 seconds to escape just in time. Luckily, he did. Did I just do that? Okay, no, I didn't. I missed all the good. I thought Brainbug's Thunder didn't kill, but it did.
Yeah, Brainbug does one-shotting everything, so... Setup is nice.
Brainbug's run so far is going pretty well.
Well, at least we know how to imprison them. For now.
Outside of RNG, so far all the runs have been going fairly well.
What do those numbers
Yeah,
floating
yeah,
above
that's
us
been
mean?
going pretty well.
Alright, in the VV battle, we actually like throw 2 lightning spellstones at him. And normally those are like really rare items, right? But luckily enough, we get the items back because can't really catch VV.
Okay. Harb is getting the top left. Team Mog is now getting the spellstones, so he just gets them through the second time round. Thank God for that.
Yeah, that would have definitely been scary if he didn't. pick those two up.
Yeah, that would definitely make the big bridge section a lot slower and probably mess with a lot of the money routing at that point, because you'd have to use lightning marbles instead, and then you'd have to buy more to make up for what you used.
Because of Hobbs' detour, he is gonna get there a little bit late. Let's see if he manages to turn it off before the 15 minutes are done.
I think he'll barely make it.
Yeah, okay, cool. He made it with 1350, so he needed just over 10% of the allotted time to make it in time. Coming in a little closer than Rhoda, but just about fitting under that with a smooth 89% still left.
The area that Rhoda is in is called the Big Bridge, and it really is a big bridge.
Yeah.
It's the longest screen, I think. Well, it looks like the longest screen in the game, just because it's one straight line.
Yep. It's a very, very, very big, featureless bridge. And we spend more time on this bridge than we should, because once in the second area, once you walk all the way up through the right, you have to go all the way down again to the left. And Mr. Wody, Mr. 6'2" male model, would you like to explain to me why you go all the way down through the left?
Sure, ignoring the male model comment, sure. But yes, the reason why we go all the way down the left is because there are a couple things down there that we want. 2 chests, specifically. So there's going to be as I'm mind blanking here, an elixir, which sells for a good amount of money, and a stealth jewel. And we want the stealth jewel because it's going to make the encounter rate also lower. So it's going to reduce the amount of random encounters that we might be able to get to help, us keep running, because we avoid all random encounters. So the less we get, the better things are.
I believe it halves it? The encounter rate?
That might be true, yeah. I'm pretty sure that after you pick up the stealth jewel, you'll never get more than one encounter on the screen.
It definitely affects it, because, I know for Castle X9, it's very few. I think I myself only get maybe one encounter at most, or something like that.
Yeah, it's 0 or 1, depending on how much
low.
you want to pick up along the way.
You okay, Rain?
So yeah, even though we spent a couple of minutes going down the left side of the bridge, it's definitely worth it, because we are cutting out a lot of encounters.
Yeah, plus the elixir helps with, because we have some of the shops coming up are going to be pretty hefty in the amount of items we buy to get us through sequences, eventually leading to the biggest one, the final shop, you could say, for all the remaining items we need.
Yeah, at this point in time you have about 4 spare items, I want to say, that you can freely use.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever need more than those 4, then you don't really have the money for it.
So, to give context, if this were a charity marathon, it's not, but if it were, this would be the section of the run that we call the donation reading part. Big Bridge is a slog. There's no two ways about it.
Okay, then why don't I tag
You
along?
can read an entire book in this area, I think.
I'm not even sure I have a book around me, because my bookcase is covered by my green screen behind me.
Okay, then why don't I tag along?
But what if you're reading a green book? They won't even notice.
I don't think that would magically make it float in front of the bookcase. I still think it would be covered.
I read manga, so I got nothing.
This might be my first.
Oh, look at this guy.
I'm a weeb, what can I say?
Anti-lectual. I read only the smartest of books, in the sense that I stopped reading when I was 17.
So you stopped last year?
Oh.
I'm 42 now. So.
Oh, right. You went the other way, I see.
Yeah.
Me?
My age is whatever is convenient to me at the time.
Just a really friend.
I mean, the answer to everything is 42, so, you know, kind of right.
You know how we know that? Because we read books. Bang. Douglas Adams, let's go.
Now that you mention it, I have seen Moogles and Chocobos wandering around Grimoire's towns.
Oh, One-Winged Angel is playing for every tiny, unthreatening enemy. Yeah, I don't have the audio on, so I'm missing out on this absolute delight.
I've got Rhoda's audio on my end, so I can hear the game. But I guess it's happening on either Habs or Brain Bugs.
I think it's on... Wait. Let me actually listen.
I think it's on Hobbs, right? Team Mog?
Yeah, I mean the fact that he's saying that he hears it on every single encounter, and Hub is on Big Bridge with a lot of encounters.
Well, everyone's in at a bit within an encounter, right? Dragon Scars, Big Bridge, Big Bridge.
True.
Speaking of Big Bridge shenanigans, Rhoda has gotten to the part, or Team Tonberry has gotten to the part, where these mithril giants fling these things at us. And we have to use these launch pads to basically fly into the air and dodge them. And we pretty much have to dodge them, because if you get caught by them, you fight an encounter against 3 of these things. And the problem is our item counts are so tight that, 1, you can't run from those battles, and 2, like, you'd have to use marbles, because the spellstones, while yes, they will one-shot them, we must keep 1 spellstone for a battle against the Tonberry King to make that battle a lot easier, because I have definitely done that battle in my first run attempt without a spellstone. It is not fun. It is very unpleasant.
Yeah, anytime you're trying to like substitute spellstones for marbles, it's gonna be a rough day for you. First of all, they do less damage, and then it's also not AoE.
Yeah.
Yes, I learned that the hard way.
When dodging those like big circles, I don't know what you call them, of light coming at you, it looks a lot scarier than it is, but trust us, it's 100% consistent.
Yes, it's always at the same time. So.
Yeah. Although with how troll some things have been, maybe I should hold off on my comments about how 100% consistent it is before I start boldly claiming things.
For Brain Bugs, because he's doing a Mama Dragon here.
Let's see how the RNG fares for Tonberry in this battle.
Yeah, surely we can only see 1 Flare Star, right? Yeah, so the Frigicite, solid Frigicite. The turn goes afterwards, and they're both going to get their turn beforehand. No Flare Star. Okay, good. The fact that we're in a marathon, and I was scared about someone getting Flare Starred, really has shown how some of the RNG has gone for the runners, but nobody got Flare Starred, so we're okay.
And coming up here, Rhoda is going to be meeting everyone's favorite Final Fantasy character, Greg, or Gilgamesh, as he's predominantly known.
Is he called Greg?
I don't know where the Greg joke came from. Maybe it's because I play mobile Final Fantasy games, but I've heard him referred to as Greg a number of times.
Okay, that's a new one for me, but okay.
Okay, yeah, I have to look up the lore of it, but he has definitely been called Greg in a number of communities I've been a part of. Apparently it's a Final Fantasy 14 joke, I'm being told in chat.
Oh, there you go. And I'm just saying, if you're not in chat, sour pluzzing, rat jamming, cat jamming to this, I'm very disappointed.
Hey, listen.
I mean, we were kind of discouraged to like make people copy pasta stuff, and now you just made them go cat jamming. Great job, Chris.
You're allowed to cat jam to battle on the big bridge, okay? Like, oh no, Hub gets it to the other side. Okay.
Oh no!
You missed the split?
No.
He went to the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just go back if you wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't immediately proc, but you can wait and then go back. That is so troll. I never knew that.
Well, he was waiting to go back because I had this happen to me actually. If you go back too soon, you run the risk of getting shot into the moving shield wall barrier thingy.
Oh, right. I've never been teleported over to the other side. I just thought you couldn't come back, Lamau. Okay.
No,
we're safe
you
then.
can. You can. You just want to wait to fly over so you don't trigger the thing, because I did have that happen to me, and I got an extra battle, and yeah, threw a lot of stuff off because of it.
I can't help but feel that was my fault because I just talked about how it was 100% consistent, and I was just essentially asking for one of the runners not to get it, right? Like, I can't help but blame myself for that one.
Well, I can see it happening because that chest we opened that's near that platform, it's so close that if you're just slightly off on the input, it can definitely happen.
Mm. Also, in the early days, we actually deliberately teleported over to get one of the chests over there. I'm not entirely sure what was in them, but it's actually not that bad. It might have been an explosion or something like that.
And we can now see Rhoda approach Tome Town. Now, if you've ever played a game that homages the Final Fantasy series in some way, like World of Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy XIV, you will see that they are very much interested in showing you Final Fantasy 1 to 5. And, man, really do learn a lot more about World of Final Fantasy in 14 once you've played 1 to 5. So this year, I've tried to start learning every single Final Fantasy run, and I've learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, and 14. Apparently, there is so much content through 1 through 5 that is being homaged that I had no idea about because I'd never played them before.
Off topic, but did you get the Gilgamesh split? Does Harp just finished it right now?
Yeah, I split when the fades to black after the experience screen.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as it's consistent, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that World of Final Fantasy isn't referencing another game. It's just there is a crazy amount that references the early games over the later ones.
I could have sworn I just saw Cloud though in that graveyard.
That is Cloud.
Yeah.
Also the same graveyard from FF7.
Yeah, I didn't say that there was no content. Hang on a second. I'm not about to be gaslit like this. I refuse.
Speaking of no content, this is the weirdest oversight of game development I think I've seen. There's literally no background music in the train graveyard. It is.
I'm not even sure if it was an oversight. I think it might have just been intended because it's like this in all versions.
Right, I guess so. It just seems bizarre. Like when you're joyriding or anything, there's literally no music playing at all, unless you're in battle.
Really weird.
Just eerily quiet. I mean, I get it. It's presence. It's a graveyard. Why would there be music?
Yeah, it would be kind of weird if it was like just a DJ standing around and like, you know.
Yeah, again, there is a middle ground. I'm not asking for them to hire David Guetta to bring along the Graveyard remix.
We've all
Really
played
pretty
Final
awesome.
Fantasy games. There's plenty of music in like graveyard-like areas.
Yeah. Like, you can
There's one
put
in
music in a
Final Fantasy
graveyard.
graveyard.
It doesn't have to be dubstep. I'm not asking for you to show up and it's just like, wubba, 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 graveyard, graveyard, you know? Like, I'm not asking for that.
If they make like a remaster of this game with your own music, I'll definitely buy it.
Should we just do an impromptu like acapella thing right now?
Oh, that does not sound like a good idea. I have no vocal range, and I think there's a
yeah.
yeah.
I'll throw you a beat.
Yo, what's up? It's Harb in the graveyard. He's out here scraping people like a dart. Yeah, I don't know. I've got nothing. Right. Okay, we're not doing this anymore.
Graveyard.
We're not, we're not doing this anymore.
We're here till the end of the run. Thank you.
Yeah. There may not be that much happening in a train graveyard, but we don't need to bring up the rap battles quite yet.
Actually, I like to call it in chat. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Graveyard, graveyard.
It is kind of a catchy tune now. Getting stuck in my head.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be the hit #1 that sweeps across the world.
I feel like this is the part where Seraph and Maelstrom are like, how did we let these three commentate?
Now, we were like kind of quiet for the first hour, and then when they just left. You know, we can do whatever we want now.
Yeah.
Also, story-wise, what are we doing here?
I believe we're just continuing to go on a quest to find our lost memories. Like, I haven't played this game casually to watch the cutscenes a while, but I don't remember like how much if the story gets any deeper at this point. It's like later where it changes.
I actually have like somewhat useful information. I think we are collecting several keys or several elements.
That's right.
Yeah, this is where I stopped kind of paying attention to the plot, admittedly, at some point, because the game, like an hour into the run, turns around and is just like, anyway, you need to get the 4 keys to access to the place where you need to go. I'm like, yeah, all right, Zelda. Like, I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I get it. Like,
I mean, there's
I understand what you're
Pokemon,
getting
Zelda, everything.
That's right. I forgot. We are going to collect keys.
Yes. That's the key to success.
Hey.
Hey.
Bottom. I'd high five you if you were in the same room.
Virtual 5.
Virtual 5.
Virtual 5. I'm using push to talk, so I can't do that, but just imagine I did.
Though I do believe at this point they're actually trying... I don't think they're getting a key here. I think what they're actually doing is trying to save Tome Town, but they have to like find this like vampire prime to like save this town, essentially.
Yeah, the last key I've seen is at King Ball. So that was the flyer key. That's why I suddenly remembered, oh yeah, we are collecting keys. And I saw it on the brain button.
That's where they introduced you to it in Nibelheim, yeah. Like, the concept that you need to go around and grab a bunch of keys.
But yeah, no one got hit by the secret Flan encounter, which is always nice.
Yeah, in the Windswept Mire, no one pulled a kawaii, so...
I don't recall it.
Yeah, pulled a kawaii, that's what I said, yeah.
Just want the extra experience, man.
Extra experience and your items being destroyed, yeah.
So yeah, here's the next boss battle you can see at Rhoda's screen. It's the King of the Vampires, it's Vampire Prime.
Yes, Rain got kidnapped, but then we immediately got her back 30 seconds left.
Yes.
I wonder if Vampire Prime's ultimate enemy is Garlic Tron.
Sounds pretty scary.
Thank you!
Aha, I defeat you with the power of home cooking.
It was pretty much a textbook fight. He didn't even do his signature attack, which takes a couple of seconds.
He didn't drain, is what he can do there.
It's a Dark Mistress. I think that's what it's called.
When did we step
Oh,
into
dark!
his
Oh god,
memory?
yeah, that one. I've not seen that one in a while.
Yeah, it's always nice when the enemies don't do their... So enemies will have like those long animation abilities, and obviously that wastes time because you got to sit through and watch it, so it's always nice when they don't do those abilities.
Yeah, they can't really one-shot you, but they just want to look cool and have like a 5-second animation, and then still do like 100 damage. But you know, they tried.
So now that Tome Town has been saved, Sid, so this game's version of Sid is a robot mailbox, has informed them of where the next key can be found.
It's the Key of Tides.
I'm...
And knowing our Final Fantasy lore and history, which Final Fantasy do we think this is going to be represented in? Water.
Some kind of water-based Final Fantasy
game with islands and water.
I'm gonna have to go when you get the submarine in Final Fantasy VII. Is it that?
It's getting late.
That would be a great guess. But
Would be a great
unfortunately,
guess.
that's not correct.
No, it's not. Well, I can't think of any other Final Fantasy you'd go underwater to do anything.
That's a very subtle hint, and also a very appropriate reaction.
Why did Wody just laugh awkwardly? Does anybody know?
I think that's just his normal style of laughing. That's what it sounds like to me.
It might be. I mean,
Yeah.
look, it had to be said to somebody, all right?
Yeah, Wody is a 6'2" male model, but unfortunately his laugh is awful. So that's what we found out today.
That is fair. Chad does point out a lot of Final Fantasies do have water in them, so my hint was not very good.
Also, a small general thing about walking. Every time we have to walk somewhere and we are not able to joyride, you have a choice between having like a giant rain or like the medium-sized rain, the small rain. The giant versions actually also walk faster, so if you're just walking around in towns, we usually want to have like the big versions, because it just is faster if you're walking around.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy that Lon tries to imitate Tidus's laugh there. You can cut it off with the whole dialogue saving thing. If you grab that chest quick enough, you'll cut off him doing it.
Yeah, I noticed Rhoda just like spun around for a few rounds just to let that line go.
Show us the laughter. Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely worth 100%.
I am primarily a 10 runner. It's my main game. Every time I get there in the game, I just take my headphones off and walk off. I think that's the true strat.
And here we see Team Tonberry is now at the S-Star menu, part of the run.
Yep. I trust that he's done everything correctly. I know the other two did.
Yeah, he'll probably be fine.
Actually, no.
No, he's not there.
Wait,
Yeah.
no,
Wait,
he's not
yeah.
there. He's just doing some of it early?
Apparently, yeah. I guess Brainbug does some of it early because I was going to say he only got smash on the Mithril Giant, and when he stopped, I was like, "Wait a minute." Hey, to each his own. You know, menu eventually needs to get done. Doesn't say you can't do it sooner. Saves you time in a way later by not having one massive menu.
This game doesn't a lot of the time like to just sit there and give you exposition when you're in cutscenes. When it can, it will just do it when you're in the overworld. It doesn't mean it won't give you exposition in cutscenes, but it tries not to. This screen that Team Choco is on right now, one of the more egregious sections of that happening. There is nothing to do other than swim down slowly whilst you get expositioned to? I don't... Hopefully that's a verb. The only thing there is to do while swimming down, and there are these 5 stars that give items, and they all give something that is vaguely useful. There's ethers and...
There's
what
a
else
spell
is there?
stone in there, so that's pretty
There's a
nice.
spell stone. Ethers, spellstone,
I got the
high
notes
potions, and shell stones, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope, you're right. I got the notes up. Yeah, ether, spellstones, water spellstone, ether, high potion, spellstones. Yeah.
I know who you are. Quista's filled me in.
Alright, let's see if Hard lets the laughing play.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Rhoda did it was just doing it for fun, but he was swapping between chibi and giant rapidly.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the swimming speed, so you can pretty much do whatever you want. But yeah, even though it might look like a break here, you can't actually go AFK and just hold forward, because you have to pick up all these items in the water.
And then that one random cutscene skip in the middle of it after they're done talking.
Yeah, that's also a thing.
I didn't know she was a big shot.
So why are you here helping us out like this? I don't suppose it's to make up for the waterfall.
Sorry.
Oh, right, the character who introduces us in the underwater bit is Tidus, by the way. But we never officially said. We only inferred to it in about 5 or 6 different ways.
And earlier, as just happened to Team Mog, Shantoto, I think is how you say her name.
Sounds about right.
Yeah?
From 11,
Sure.
Rexus.
Yes. And you deliberately go in without a Mirage setup, so it's like only rain, so she can die faster.
Yeah.
Since you can't win that battle anyways.
So wait.
Yep.
Yeah, their first attack on you is like 4,000 damage.
Here as part of the operation to perform a job.
Yeah. The thing is, if you don't swap stacks, you'll enter with Veilfall, right? And sometimes they use Quake, and you just float, it doesn't deal damage, and then you wonder, okay, why didn't I change?
Life and death.
That's like the main reason.
Just for science, I have tried to kill every encounter in this game, or fight, sorry, that is supposedly a forced loss. And unfortunately, it's the old Final Fantasy trick of they will always have 1 HP remaining. You can't kill them.
By science, do you mean you just activate a cheat engine and try to, like, insta-kill them?
Well, I mean, I prefer the term science. Like,
But they're useless now.
Science.
yes, cheat engine's such an ugly word. I like science.
If we have to do this without
I do like me some science.
yes, the master plan is toast.
When I raided in 14, one of our raid members had a call out that trivialized a difficult mechanic, but instead of calling it cheating, we had we called it creative use of game mechanics. So that's what I'm going to choose to call cheat engineering in this case. It was a creative use of game mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, it rolls off the tongue. It's nice.
Yeah. Cheat's such an ugly word, so just lie about it. Like that's the way forward. Alright. Very quickly upcoming is penguins as well. My partner just texted me and asked me when are the penguins.
I mean, you're gonna, like, kill the penguins, so... I'm not sure whether she's happy to see them.
Are we? Are we though? Like, I would argue that is
in true
arguable.
Final Fantasy fashion, we just knock them out. Remember, Cloud hits people with the blunt end of his sword. He doesn't actually kill people.
That is true. You electrocute them, you fry them, you drown them, but you know, you don't kill them.
Never become a diplomat, Kawhi. I'm not sure it would work out.
So if what was that?
Are you gonna say something, Kawhi?
Oh, was I?
Oh, my bad. I misheard. That was on me.
Yeah, we thought
I was
you
just
were,
going
but
to
yeah,
say Team Chocobo. So with the Team Chocobo battle there against the Queen Quattro, we kind of see the first start of where we start using support abilities to help our damage output. So in a number of the battles that are coming up, not necessarily every one of them, but a handful of them, you'll see that we're going to use the spell Fate on Rain to allow her like item usages to be slightly stronger to help weaken the bosses a lot quicker. And then you'll see like sometimes we might do a haste, and you'll start to see more of that. Instead of just kind of throwing items, we'll start using support abilities to make sure these battles kind of sway in our favor more and more. I think this is the first battle where we do that.
That might be true, yeah. I think Faith will boost your magic power by 25%, but it might also be 33. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I tried because I was curious. I was like, well, what if I don't use Fate? Like, what will happen? Well, you don't one-shot all the enemies, is what I found out. So yeah, you definitely want to use it.
Yeah, you'll just lack that little bit of damage.
How much does it do to
What's it?
the next fight? Like 4,300 something?
Well, I know we used the Spellstone. Well, we used the Spellstone before the Fate, and then we Fate, and then so Lightning Marble will do 2812 with
Sorry,
Fate.
can
instead
I
of
just make sure? It is Faith, right?
It's Faith, yes.
Fate,
Like,
Yeah,
Fate.
okay, cool.
Okay, that might be me. Okay, so I am notoriously known for having trouble saying that word. Full disclosure.
Okay.
So that's on me. I'm really bad at that word.
I let it go the first time, so I was just presuming you misspoke.
My girlfriend picks on me all the time for it. I don't know why. I'm so bad at that saying that word.
Okay, it's like, yeah, Faith, right.
Fate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhoda just took a small little detour to pick up a special item. It's the Holy Torch, which is basically like dispel on the entire enemy party. And even though it takes like 10 seconds to pick up the item, it's still pretty worth it because it makes life a lot easier later on.
Yes, very much. There's a there's a boss battle later on that definitely warrants the need of it.
Okay, I just looked at how much damage it is, and I can confirm it is definitely either one of the two numbers you said.
These mirages.
I am.
Thanks for your help, Chris.
You're welcome. I'm too
You're
tired
back
to do
where
the
we started.
arithmetic off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Say that again?
I started my FF10 run last night at 2 a.m. and I kept going until midday, like on 4 hours of sleep. Give me a break. No.
So Team Chocobo.
Yeah, continue.
I was just going to say Team Chocobo is going to be heading back to Nine Hills for another one of our planned item restock menu moments, you could say. We'll buy a bunch of stuff to get through the next sequence of battles.
Well, at least we know how to imprison them. For now.
And here is where the run starts to become spicy, because until now, you wouldn't believe it with how some of the run has gone, but until now, it's supposedly been super consistent. The next few fights until pretty much until the rest of the game, you save time depending on how quickly you can think of your feet, because a chunk of the battles are not going to go how you want them to go.
Yes. Like, for example, in other Final Fantasies, a lot of battles are like, they'll fall out, as in, okay, you need to do this turn, and then that the next turn, etc. But with World of Final Fantasy, you kind of just have to go as fast as you can, and there's no real, like, determined turn order and stuff like that. Because you never know what the enemy is going to do. Depending on that, you might have to change your plan.
Keep going.
But we're never going to give up.
Okay, roger that. Full speed
Yeah, we're going to go full Rick Astley on them.
I guess we're doing this again.
Because we're no strangers to RNG.
I guess we're
Yeah, we know the rules, but unfortunately the enemies don't. They break them rather flagrantly throughout. I think that's close to the lyrics of the song.
Yeah, that checks out. So for Final Fantasy VI fans, down there with Team Chocobo, we can see that we're battling the one and only Terra and her father, Madwin.
Wait, that's her father? Today I learned.
Yeah. Have you never played 6?
Whoops, spoilers.
Wow, I was about to play FF6 tomorrow, and now you all ruined it.
I do not even slightly believe you.
I've been talking about this for years, Chris. How, like, the 30th of May is the best day to start playing FF6.
Okay, so you and I have pretty much DM'd every day, if not every other day, for God knows how many years now. If I control F, FF6 in our DMs, it's going to come up, right? Because you've talked about wanting to play it and how much you like it, right?
Now, I delete some of my messages so that you can't look up everything, you know. It would be too easy. Like,
right. Yeah.
So there was a question in chat, and I haven't played this game casually in so long. I don't know if either of you two have the answer to this. What is the hardest Mirage to get?
The super boss at the end, I guess, right?
Wait,
whatever that thing's called, XG.
Wait, we can capture that Mirage? The final boss battle, we can capture it?
I don't think so.
The hidden.
Oh, the hidden one.
Super boss. The XG white mecha thing.
The flying thing.
That. Yeah, you can capture that.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
It's been too long.
I'm starting to doubt it myself now, because I did it like 3 years ago. But
I know I beat it. I'm not sure where it might be. Did you like
just because that's like the hardest thing to defeat. If you're talking about like in normal gameplay, Cerberus is probably quite awkward because he does a lot of damage quite early on in the game, and the way to capture him is you have to use one fire, water, and lightning spell. and then that will do it once. So you have to do that like 3 times to have a chance to capture him, and then until late game, it's kind of like really awkward to do.
Looks like Team Tomberry has entered the big bridge.
Yep. The long climb.
And speaking of parts of the old game that people love, homaging, Square Enix does love the Crystal Tower. If you've played Final Fantasy
3,
14, sorry?
Isn't it Final Fantasy 3 that has the crystal tower?
It's originally in Final Fantasy 3, yeah, but honestly, if you've played Final Fantasy 14, you probably don't need to bother with 3. Like, it's most of the plots in that.
I mean, I have neither played 14 or 3, so I don't really know what 14 will take away from 3.
It's just a lot of Crystal Tower, or Circus Tower, as you call it, if you are if you've done the Alliance raid. Obviously, you spell it like the clown one, though.
Oh, it seems that Hop also just killed Terra and Maduin, so looking good over there.
Yeah, and Crystal Tower is a rather long ascent as well. A lot of the dungeons in... like, we're not going there. I think Rhoda very briefly took a wrong turn earlier, but there are... we're speedrunning this, so this place looks short. Casually, this place is quite long, because there's like a million different places you can go. There's a bunch of different crystals that lead you to a bunch of different rooms. Casually, this place is quite long.
There's even a basement in this building.
There is. It's where the secret mirage of the area is, I think, right? You have to activate a bunch of stuff and then go down.
Yeah, something is in there. I think it's Titan? Question mark? Titan as in the summon Titan from earlier Final Fantasies? But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I know what Titan is. Again, I've played Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, good old warp drive. But let's be realistic. Everyone knows
I mean, I can just Google it. Hang on. Whoa, hang on. Whoa. The power of
don't Google it, because I'm not sure that it's Titan or not. I don't want to like look dumb.
Yeah.
At least now I still have a chance it's right.
I tell you what, if it's not Titan, we just won't mention it again. How does that sound?
Okay, you'll just tell me you can find it on the internet, because the internet doesn't have the answer to everything, right?
Yes.
I will say one thing about this game that I've always enjoyed, and I forgot about this since doing the speedrunning, but the flavor text for the mirages can be very funny at times. Clearly, the writers of this game had a good laugh with writing them.
You mean the text when you catch them? And it,
Yeah, like the
shows at the
text,
bottom?
yeah, like the text that when you catch them, because like I think the gnome has like a ridiculous, like it's a pun, like there's jokes and puns and stuff inside of them.
Oh yeah, there's like tons of puns in this game. Mostly used by Tama, I think.
Oh, never mind then.
But yeah, the flavor text is fun to read.
Sis?
Before you give us an example, I would just like to confirm the secret mirage in the secret area of Crystal Tower is Mr. Titan himself. Kawaii is right. Virtual high five.
What's up?
Thank you very much. This makes my day. I want to thank like my mom and stuff for making this possible.
Also, I wasn't going to give an example, but now I feel like I have to from Chris's comment, so give me a moment.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, of course you do. You brought up that they're amusing. You have to give an example now. It's law.
Stand by.
The day of Chapu? Doomsday?
Rhoda is also very, very quickly approaching the top. I think he's near. Once you're at the top of Crystal Tower, there's a big seal with 2 crystals each side. You have to go down either way and fight 2 boss battles. The first one is a bit scary. First one is Is it Kraken and Buer?
It's Tiamat and
It's
Asterius.
Tiamat and Asterius is the first one.
Yeah,
Right?
Tiamat and
Yeah.
Steris is the first one.
Tiamat and
Alright.
Asterius is the first one. That's consistent, and then the second one, which is Kraken and Buer, is it's the first proper Monka S fight. There you go. I'll put it in terms that you guys can understand.
Alright, I've got one. Alright, so this is the in-game description for the Copper Gnome. Composed almost entirely of copper, this metal with the metal takes pride in its tough hide. It is incredibly satisfying to face one of these and shout, "Yeah, see, you'll never take me alive, Kappa." If you got that reference, then congratulations, you are old.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
And all that was that, like, even the like, if you got that reference, then you're old is actually in the game. That wasn't just me adding it on there.
We must be getting
Oh, it actually is on there?
Yeah, it actually says in parentheses, if you got that reference, then congratulations, you're old.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get it. I am very
Pretty
young and youthful and hip with all of the kids of today's youth, so...
But I thought you're 42.
That is pretty
I'm
young nowadays.
I'm whatever
But
age
I'm
is
33 and I
convenient
got
to
that.
me. I'm whatever age is convenient to me at the time, so I'll conveniently be young and not get it, so I can be hip.
Like the cool kids, I see.
Yes, like the Echo Smith song.
And you can access the prism case via the Seraphone.
It's a pretty good song.
Are there any other more magical
Yeah,
Mirage
of
quote
course
text?
there are, but I don't know if people want that.
Hit us with the Black Knack.
All right, let me find it.
I don't know what the Black Knack is. Impossible to capture.
All right,
Little annoying so-and-so.
So the black knack says, a knack with high resistance to fire. Even its teeth are like hot coals. You could probably grill a hamburger in there if you could just get it to keep its mouth open.
Why would... No, what? Yeah, sure, the heat would probably take care of a lot of that, but... You are putting a burger into a dog's mouth, ultimately, right?
You'll probably like it.
The burger's for me, mate. I'm not... Like, how many burgers do you think I'm cooking that I'm then giving my dog?
Wait, why don't you feed your dogs? Animal cruelty.
I don't...
Yeah.
We've made a leap here, haven't we?
Also, a split is coming up for Brainbug.
Yep.
He's
He's
approaching Greg, as you might say.
Yes, Greg. Greggy boy.
This is the Tiamat battle going on in Rhoda's screen.
Sometimes this fight can look a bit scary, but as far as I'm aware, it's consistent. The only thing that can happen is Asterius doing exactly that.
Yeah, I've had a
smacking
few
someone.
Monka-esque moments for that battle, so yeah, it definitely sometimes can catch you off guard.
I can feel it.
I think the main problem is when you get like Jetfire and Water Guard and all that kind of AoE stuff. And then, you know, you just lose HP really quickly. Can be scary.
Trying to make sure my finger doesn't actually click before it's ready.
I believe the audio was taken off Tonbury not too long ago, so we don't get to hear Greg's banger theme again.
Uh-huh. Yeah, also, in case you were wondering how we actually heal in this speedrun, for the majority of the run, the only thing we have is either high potions or X potions, but we are not exactly like swimming in them. Most of the time we just let Mirages die and then revive them as a Phoenix Down.
Yeah, and later on, Lon will be have Searcher in his party, and Searcher will get Reaper, and that means every time somebody else dies, he heals. So it's actually in your best interest to have the other stack unstack and then all die, so Lon full heals.
Yeah, just don't do that menu before the Coliseum stuff, as I find out. And speaking of more flavor text, Valfor's is actually it's basically an ad.
Hang on, I think you can read it just after Rhoda gets to Kraken and
Oh
Buer
yeah,
here,
we're on Buer.
This fight can go badly. All right, the blink and okay, this is
It looks good so far.
yeah, this looks good so far. This is pretty much what you want to happen. And then the spell stone goes on, and then the lightning ball marble onto Kraken, and then I believe
Oh,
the
he double
lightning
flashed
spell
even.
stone- Oh, the double flash!
Oh,
It's
the
a
double
god
flash.
fight.
That's good.
Stones are at the bottom. You scroll past them. Yep, there you go. God
Yeah.
fight. Okay, that is
was good.
really as good as you want that fight to be.
Yeah, very good fight.
Yeah, both of our stacks have about 2.5k HP, and if they cast Water Guard or something like that, it will do over 1000 damage, I want to say. So you can't take too many of them, because then you will just die. But luckily enough, he used other attacks, so not that
You
bad.
see Harb in the top left just defeat Tiamat and Asterius with no real trouble. Rhoda is now coming up to Brandilis.
Ah, yes, this could potentially change something depending on how this goes, because that Brandy RNG.
Take us through Brandilis, Kalai.
Brandilis is also the main antagonist of the story, I think. He's like the bad guy that we are chasing. Why is he so scary in this fight? Brandilis is ridiculously fast, so we actually need to throw spider silks at him to slow him down a little bit. Apart from that, we just want to chuck a lot of items at him, and to throw a maximum amount of items, we want to unstack both of our stacks to have more turns. It also means that all your small little mirages will be very vulnerable, so sometimes it gets a little bit scary. But the main way we do it is that we protect the Choco Chick, just make sure it survives everything, and yeah, pretty much just go from there. We reflect the guy and we just heal him if he gets hit.
Yeah, so the setup is done properly. That's a pretty good opening, honestly. Star Curtain goes up, the Spider Silk goes off and flare. Brandy has a bunch of AoE attacks that you really don't want to see. Physical attack, okay, pretty good so far.
As you can see, if he uses an AoE attack, then almost your entire party dies, except
Yeah.
the Black Choco Chick.
Star
That's the one you
Curtain
protect.
also runs out after 6 turns, and we're probably close yet. There we go. We see the Star Curtain renewed. Harb is also now on Kraken and Buer, and his health totals are very low.
Yeah, it looks
one
kinda
AoE spell from either of them, and they will get another turn off before rain. Oh, the flash. Okay. Now he's going to use the lightning spellstone, and that's not
Okay.
killing.
So
I
Harp
guess
got through
the
this fight.
turn was missed through lightning marble. Okay, yeah, got through the fight. That's another scary fight gotten through. Back to Rhoda in the bottom left.
He wants to keep this Black Choco Chick at full HP, because then it will never die in one shot. The worst that will happen is like Earthquake or something, but he will still survive. And obviously, if he has Reflect, he can't die to AoE spells.
Yeah, he didn't renew Star Curtain, but I think
He
that's
did
'cause he's
not
going to
renew
kill him before. Yeah, he kills him
He got
before,
him,
and
so-
that's Brandilis gone. Very
That's
good
actually
Brandilis. Yeah.
Yeah, whew, I would
Very
say
good.
the
Feel safe.
Go on.
no, I was gonna say yeah, the not renewing Star Curtain was definitely risky.
Mom could be here?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find her.
Well, he was probably counting items as well, and he knew he was towards the end, so if you kill him in time, it's also fine. But yeah, round 2 of Brandilis.
Yeah, out of one Brandilis and into another. Out of the frying pan and into the freezer, as Titus would say.
A good reference.
Thank you.
Live and
so
let live.
the setup is done properly. 2 lightning marbles go down. Blaze openings, not the best. Something you do have to look out for, there is a special like green shimmer that goes over when you have Spider Silk on, and ideally you want Spider Silk on most of the time. Dispoger is pretty much the dream to see, because all you have to do is re-put up Star Curtain, then you can keep throwing items again.
Mm-hmm.
The physical attack goes off on Searcher. Okay, so far these have been spectacular Brandiluses in terms of thinking ought to be happening. Earthquake isn't the best, but it's not the worst AoE spell because Veil Force still lives because ground attacks cannot hit him.
In terms of survivability, the only Mirage that needs to live is the Searcher, because he needs the XP. All of the other ones are... it's fine if they die.
Whirlwind isn't great. We're probably getting to the point again where Star Curtain needs to be renewed. Yep, there it goes. Straight up as if by magic.
He needs
Open
to heal,
Sesame.
though, is the only thing.
He does need to heal. He's not healing. Okay, the flare goes off on Rain. And the Spider Silk goes off again.
He's close to killing him, though.
I think Brandalus is going to get another turn.
Nah, he's dead.
Really?
I think it's one more.
No, it gets another turn, the blaze goes off, so he's going to have to Phoenix down, but now it's dead, right?
Okay, it was two. It's good that he didn't go for the YOLO.
Yeah. Okay, two good Brandaluses so far. Can only hope that it goes as well for Brain Bugged.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you see this bugger, you kind of rejoice, and even on the AoE spells, the turns ended up figuring themselves out. The worst case scenario on Brandalis is that you have to Phoenix down with Black Choker Chick after an AoE spell, but then everybody else's turn is also very far away, so Brandalis just gets 2 turns in a row, which can start leading to disasters.
Yep. Yeah, I've had some janky Brandy RNG in a few of my runs.
Oh, you can see in Rhoda's menu that he's buying Titus right now. In this game you can buy the champion medals, and they pretty much just act like summons in the other games, so you can use them and they will do some damage and buff some of your stats. Basically just help you out for one battle. And we're gonna use it later on, so you're buying it now so we can charge it up, because you can't use it right away.
So Team Chocobo and Rhoda are about to get into a sequence of battles, of intervention quests that we have to do to essentially trigger the next story point. And so they're basically going to be, there's these mini games. We don't actually have to do the mini games. So the moment they start, we basically, quit out of them, basically end them because they do not determine if we can move forward or not, thankfully.
Well, meanwhile, Brainbug just killed Vampire Prime.
Mm-hmm. Brainbug is chugging along pretty well. I was just going to say that Gilgamesh, we don't have the splits yet for Brandalus, the sheet that I'm looking at, but Rhoda lost 8 minutes to just running around in circles looking for encounters, but at Gilgamesh, they were all very, very close to one another, so we do have a tight race going on right now.
Mm.
Yep, and not quite there yet, but eventually we'll come to the Bahamut battle, which could sway things if they remain this close.
Yeah, most of these intervention quests feature bosses that are I don't really like the term because it's always disingenuous and used wrong, but quote unquote free. Seldom is ever anything going to go wrong. You're just going to lightning marble them down and be okay. The only killer is if you briefly forget how to count in the moment, Supraltima. It's a bit of a nightmare.
Supraltima?
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it?
How do you pronounce it?
I normally say Supraltima, but it might be Supraltima. I don't know.
Okay, so when I don't know how to pronounce a word, I just default to a Spanish pronunciation. So, you might be right. I don't know.
Okay, if it's Ultima, would you say Ultima or Ultima?
I would say Ultima.
Right.
But we are on that fight right now. Wody, do you want to explain it?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So the I'm gonna say Supralma, or whatever. So the way this battle works is we essentially need to count to 50. Well, technically 48, but the goal is, as we're using items, we're counting 1 or 2 depending on the item. So the spell stones use 3,000 damage, which is 2 points, and then the other items that are 1,500 are like 1 point. Now you're probably wondering, spell stones, they're rare. Why are we throwing them? Don't we need them for other things? This battle has an interesting mechanic where when we die, we're refunded back all the items, as you actually see there with Rhoda and Team Choco. He just got taken out by Ultima, so he's actually been given back all his items, but the boss won't actually get his health back. Now, most of the time, the bosses will get their health back and you have to start over, but this boss has the mechanic where it doesn't do that. So we're counting to 48 because the goal is that we want to kill him as fast as we can, but we need those spell stones for other battles. So once we hit 48, we end the battle, get all of our items back, and then we'll use Earth Hammer. Since Earth Hammers aren't a necessity for the remaining battles, they're kind of the throwaway item we can use here. So we use that, take out the boss, but keep all of our spell stones that we've spammed through several times now. That's pretty much that battle in a nutshell. We unstack to make sure that we're using multiple, basically as many turns as possible. I think realistically a fast version of this battle would be 3 encounters is what I want to say, because it's very unlikely you'll get to like 48 in one battle.
You don't have enough items to, I think.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, you don't have enough items. But yeah, I think the quickest I've ever done is 3. Get the 48 within 2 battles, and then the third one. But sometimes he'll use Ultima a lot sooner and take you out. So I've done as many as like 4 battles before I've taken him out.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what he does, right? So
yeah, you are a slave to RNG in this fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it looks like Rhoda is gonna have to do, I think, 4 encounters. Yeah, this is his 3rd encounter, so yeah, he's doing a 4th one.
yeah, and he used the spell stones in the end to just kill his own party, because you get those items back anyways, and it's the fastest way to kill your entire party.
For some reason, my brain never made that connection. I never do that to kill my own teammate.
Well, today you learned.
Yeah, today I learned, right? Optimization for my next run.
And just a quick note on how Pog this is currently. We are 30 hours into the FF Relay, obviously a long time to go, but we are a decent chunk in, and we have 2 runners who are on exactly the same fight currently. We are neck and neck. Speaking of, what were the splits of parameters? Do we have them? We do.
Yeah, they are on the stream.
So close. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Just for the game, how close they are. So, for those who weren't here earlier, Rhoda did lose 8 minutes to capture RNG, and there was nothing he could do about that. Oh, something I will say real quick. Rhoda is currently going up against the train conductor, and he's playing a little safe. You want to fail this minigame. You may think it's quicker if you hit him, but if you hit him, there is a bunch of dialogue after the minigame. You can't just skip straight through.
Yeah, it's actually a disaster if you hit him.
Yeah.
Same goes for the Titus minigame as well. When you're throwing the blitzball, if you hit that bird, then you have to fight him, which you really don't want to do.
Yeah, but luckily with that, you can just throw them. You can throw the balls to the ground at minimum strength, and you're never going to hit it. Whereas with the train conductor, if you're going for PB attempts, you want to immediately just guess an angle and hope you don't hit it. And it is an actual tragedy if you do. Luckily, the minigame is for the most part, I don't want to say awful, but pretty difficult to hit him consistently. So you won't most of the time, even if you are going for it.
I mean, he's a catcher, right? Those are really fast.
Mm.
What now?
So from each of these battles, you can get rewards from them, which Rhoda just picked up. Some of them are vaguely useful, some of them aren't.
Yeah, it's a handful of things like ethers and potions, and
Yeah,
I think
you
Phoenix Finions and stuff.
Yeah, you want most of them. The Phoenix Pinions are kind of worthless, but...
What now?
Why are they worthless, by the way? I've never had anyone explain that to me in learning this run, because they're basically like medium... They seem like they're better than Phoenix Downs, though, so why are they worthless?
The reason they are, I mean, they're not exactly worthless, it's just that they have the same function as the Phoenix Down, I should say, because it doesn't really matter whether you like revive with 25% HP or like 50%, and they have a different item slot, because you move your Phoenix Downs to be on the top right of your item inventory, so you can fight them quickly. But the Phoenix Pinions will always be on like a random spot in the middle, so...
Yeah, your Phoenix Downs are right where you want them to, and you're pretty much... Well, you are always going to have enough Phoenix Downs. If you have Phoenix Pinions, you have to keep scrolling. You're never going to use them, basically.
Yeah, it takes too much time to find them, is the main explanation. You can even sell them and rebuy Phoenix Downs if you want to. Because then
Alright, I wouldn't recommend that, but... Like, I think you're pretty much always going to have enough Phoenix Downs. We were talking about this actually before the run started. We're going to get an optional chest later on that gives you an extra encounter, but it also gives you a Mega Ether, which you can sell for 12,500, which gives you an opportunity just to add some marathon safe strats in.
That is true.
Rhoda's just doing some menu organizing.
Mm-hmm.
It's optional when you do this, but I think most runners do it now.
Yeah, because the items are such a main part of the strategy, you want them to be in specific slots so you can find them easier. Because if an item is like in the middle of your item inventory, then it takes a lot of time to find it every single time.
Yeah.
Also, story-wise, after they fought Brandalis, they opened like the gate to I don't know where, like some bad place, and all kinds of monsters just came out. It's not exactly hell, but it's like a different dimension, something portal. And that's why we had to fight all these like Sepraltama, War Machine stuff.
Oh god, if World of Final Fantasy ever gets into one of these again, we're going to bring like a casual story expert along.
I got you. I got it. I got it covered. So they opened the ultimate gate, which brings the Cogna to the land of Grimoire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
That's a pretty bad place, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad place.
You ready for this?
Basically, our heroes were tricked into fulfilling the Crimson Prophecy, which is what triggered all of this.
Right. They thought they had to like destroy something, and then they got tricked, and they opened the gate, and then all kinds of bad stuff happened.
Yeah, and so there's this like question that's plaguing them, and they're like, how are they able to do it? Like, and in the first place, they want to find these answers. And then they run
someone
into...
died.
Yeah, Water. Water hit Lan after he got a little beat up, so he died. Again, there's nothing you can really do about that, and ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, you probably lose.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Just throw a Phoenix down, everyone lives again.
Yeah, 7 seconds. We weren't expecting to see that because a lot of the times you don't.
Yeah, it's pretty uncommon.
Can I explain the gimmick of this dungeon that Team Choco are currently in? But there isn't really one. You just kind of go to the end of each corridor. Oh, he didn't heal before he went here, so he's 900 health. This encounter is always an ambush. Again, not the end of the world if you die. You can't just Phoenix down and you're fine. But
I have been guilty of going to this battle many a times without healing.
Yeah.
Well, because there's no... After you finish the battle with the Besaid, or the Besaid thing, it pretty much throws you into this area. So there is no save point that you would traditionally hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very unintuitive to like look for a save point to like touch it specifically. It's not really on the way. And yeah, the thing with this gimmick in this place is that you need to touch the right iPods or whatever they are. They look like. Oh, it's a hand. It's not an eye. Okay. Yeah, you just need to like touch them and then they teleport. But if you pick the wrong ones, you actually have to fight some battles, I think. So as long as you know like which ones you need to touch, then it's fine.
If you're not sure you're strong enough yet.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole gimmick. The next dungeon that comes after this, Castle X9, is a beautiful looking dungeon, but the first time you get there, it is hell. You can walk down the side of walls and like up lots of different platforms, and there is no really good way of conveying the information that you're supposed to, on where you're supposed to go.
Careful, the mirage is
There's
So-
no minimap in that place. So
Yeah,
that's why
there's no
it's so hard to
mini
get.
map. There's nothing like that. You have to run up a bunch of side of the buildings. So
Right.
the only way to know where to go is just do it a bunch, and eventually you'll remember where to go.
Yeah, I think when I was learning the speedrun, I was like literally watching Chris's like video like neck and neck as I'm trying to like do it. to like
Yeah.
guide me the right way.
I hope we catch up to win in time.
Another sister.
You can also see Brainbugged of Team Tonberry finally getting to the exciting part of the run. Terra and Madwin. It's at least it's my sign that the run is getting interesting, because suddenly you are improvising,
Yes.
which is partly where this run shines. Just
Yeah, it starts being a
Improv.
little bit less scripted, and you have to make decisions.
we'll definitely see more of that. Unfortunately, he's going to Phoenix down before Terra dies, right? Yeah, cool. He took off auto battle. I was a bit, it's a bit scared there.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Man's got it under control.
Searcher has to live there. So. Chris teaching people. Yeah, I mean, I am unfortunately good at a few games. Not many, but a few.
Few is plural.
Yeah.
Thinking emoji.
Wow, rude.
For what?
Got him.
I give up. I
Got
don't
him.
climb this thing anymore.
Hey, it's too early to give the
It's fine. I'm just gonna cry myself to sleep at night. That's the only way to recover.
At least I hope so.
I believe Rhoda is now very close to getting into Castle
Can you tell
X9.
us more about the
Yeah,
He's
he
getting
should
to the
be-
last set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be right at the right at the end point for the final climb. Oh, he clicked on the wrong generator.
Yeah, he had to go into the left one and not the right one. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that they don't play fair.
Well,
Well, today I learned
Goes
that the
without
right one
saying.
is technically a safe one. There's no encounter behind it.
So, not only is Castle X9 a maze that can't really be described, there's also many chests that you have to pick up along the way that are full of like super useful items. Like some X potions here, some
Mega ethers,
high ethers, mega ethers, turbo ethers.
haste stones.
Mega
Haste
elixirs even.
Yes, there is even an elixir, isn't there? There is a mega phoenix as well? Question mark towards the beginning.
Yes, that is correct.
We beat
Yes.
him once. We can beat him again.
It's Mega Phoenix should be the first chest you pick up.
Even trying before.
Yeah.
Well, so what? I wasn't trying either.
Yeah, it's also the first chest where you like immediately will question physics
Yeah.
because it's hanging
Very
on its
encouraging.
sides. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. It is
It's this
hanging facing down, and you have to go up and get it. So you can immediately see what we mean by this place is very difficult to navigate around. our runners will know where to go.
Do you know anything else about those 3 heralds?
But when you get here, you're probably your eyes are just going to be deceived. Eyes are going to look at everything that's happening, stop for a second, and be like, "Wait, hang on, what?"
They have the lots of members.
Yeah, you can tell that they do know where they're going because every time there is a they have to move out the way for something, they start moving before they can even see.
The ones with names and the numbers are the cruelest and most dangerous.
Also, whilst you do have to pick up a lot of chests here, you don't have to pick up every single one, so there will be certain ones that are skipped. Not every single one is sort of something useful. Although I do think there are actually wobble stoppers along here somewhere. I think Rhoda's already passed them.
No, so the wobble stoppers, I know where they are. You know that scene with the
MC Escher thing, where it's like a
the
big
overhead
circle.
view, and it's like a circle that you run on.
Oh right, yeah. Okay. I thought it was the one at the left on the in the first screen at the end on the pipe. Evidently not.
Silence is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
All the same.
I don't know who, but someone also bought 2 wobble stoppers. So
It's a good
that person
idea.
probably doesn't have to like pick up the chest of wobble stoppers.
Generally not used in any percent, but they are slowly phasing their way into the route, just because of how awful of a fight Bahamut is.
Mm-hmm.
And Harb is also
Entering Castle X9.
they're both in Castle X9.
Beyond description.
At the end of this dungeon, there is a really nasty 2-parter fight.
But
Yep.
yeah,
Lost my last PB to it.
Yep. It's Plume Knight and Gold Knight followed by King of Bahamut, and it can get
herald's thresholds.
very scary to the point where our runners will be saving before the fight.
Don't even pretend you forgot what that
To answer
is.
the question in
So,
chat, it's
what
actually
are
called
you
King of
saying,
Bahamut
Wonder
because
Zone?
I think Bahamut is just like the name of like the enemy army.
It is the Bahamutian Federation or whatever.
Exactly.
Wait, but that means if we go kaput.
Okay. Picked up the wrong chest, but he did get remedies, so not entirely worthless of a pickup.
I might not be able to rewind you to. Thresholds are more than.
Fortunately, we
just
are in a part of the run
barriers,
nowhere.
aren't they?
All 3 of our runners are now in an ascent.
Force field, inside of which the
They actually are, yeah.
walls can be the
Is it time for more flavor text?
I'm glad you read my mind.
So, whenever we step through a threshold, we're stepping inside.
So, for context, when you capture mirages, they come with a bit of flavor text explaining them.
Well, this is a screen with the bubble stoppers. And he chose
Yes,
to not
yeah.
get them.
He chose to not get them, so I guess he bought them. But would you like to give us some more flavor text for some mirages?
Yeah, let's. I had mentioned earlier I was going to do one for Valifor, but we had some shenanigans going on that we wanted to talk about. So yeah, let's do Valifor. So in game, Valifor's description is Yuna's fateful friend and companion, so to speak. She soars through the air, wild and free. Raise your hand if you're feeling a wave of nostalgia right now. Hey, speaking of nostalgia, did you know Final Fantasy X has been remastered in high def?
It's literally an
Secret
ad.
ad.
It's just an ad. Like, hang on a second.
Also, off topic. Is it Valifor or is it Valefor? Because I actually don't know.
I think it's Valifor.
So many
Did I say
mirages
Valefor?
here. Doesn't the
No, you said
Federation
Valifor,
sharing
but
Yeah.
I actually don't know because
Somehow,
No, I
I've
don't
heard like
know
both
either.
versions.
So,
after all,
I feel like they both
Wolf
can be
knows
read
better
that
than
way.
bear's fangs at a behemoth.
I think
They thought this team
it
champion
depends where,
was
like most things, it depends what you heard.
They
I think
And-
it's Dave. I'm told in chat it's Dave.
Dave? Okay.
Something about him.
Wait, are you sure it's not Dave-a-for?
Different than the other two
It is
heralds.
Dave4.
Yeah, I'm going Dave-a-for.
Alright, what's another Mirage we have in this run that we can read?
Oh, before we go to the next Mirage, this is the like a mini boss kind of
Oh,
thing.
the Carbuncle.
It's Carbuncle. You're actually fighting an illusion of Carbuncle, which is why it's so weak right now. And every time you kill one of these, it will reveal some more blocks. So just a bigger area to go to. Eventually you'll fight the real Carbuncle, but the first few are just illusions. Wait, are they both like... Ah, no. Harp is at the first Carbuncle, and then Rhoda just defeated the second one. For a moment I thought they were like really close together.
Yeah, the Carbuncle battle can deceive one like that.
It was a bait, I'm sorry. There's still a few minutes separating the two runners, but they are
It's about
very
2.5 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the Carbuncle illusions are like identical in battle-wise, so it's kind of hard to tell which one is which. They died to 4 lightning marbles.
On that note, Brainbugged has got to Tiamat and Asterius, and none of the runners have been trolled by this fight.
Let's see if the streak continues.
Yeah, that's a fine attack, and says the Earthquake. We're just trying to avoid Jetfire, and we're trying to avoid whatever the Ram attack's called from Asterius. I think we're already fine.
Yes. As soon as the team dies, you're fine.
Yeah, and the focus from Asterius, so again, a very good fight.
Yeah. Asterius only has single target attacks, so he's not the scariest one, but Tiamat does have AoE attacks. Also, a small little trick you see at Rhoda's screen. He just dismounted from his joyride, so he can pick up the chest. And not touch the Carbuncle.
Yeah, I do believe you could fight that Carbuncle if you wanted the extra experience, because we're coming up to the part, I mentioned this earlier, where the most important Mirage is Searcher, getting ahead of myself here. Searcher needs to be level 44 by the end of the upcoming boss battles, ideally. There's other ways I'm sure one could change it in their route, but you would want to get him to level 44 by this next battle, ideally. So if you take that extra Carbuncle battle, obviously you'll get more experience, so it just helps like get you closer to that point.
Yeah, if you ever messed up like earlier on, that this might be your chance to recover it a little bit.
Yeah, ultimately that one is just like the third illusion of Carbuncle, and all it requires to kill it is 4 lightning marbles, and we have a surplus of items we can use.
Yep, from this point on, you're swimming in money, so you can buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you get a lot of one-time items, and then you can just immediately sell them.
Yeah, it's because the game naturally gives you a lot of mega elixirs at this point in time, and they're worth a lot of money.
Yeah, imagine using mega elixirs when you can just buy them. Not buy them, sell them even, and then get better stuff. Lol. Right. Comments of Brainbugs, Kraken, and Viewer. The Flash, it's very nice. Into Evil Mist.
Yeah, no water guns yet today.
Pretty
nice.
Yet. And the Spellstone comes down, or Lightning Marble hits there.
Oh,
The
that's
Fire
the
is a bit scary, but I think Lightning Spellstone will just kill anyway, and it won't
Yep.
matter. And a clean 3 Kraken and Viewers from the runners. Fantastic.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, as you could see there at the end of the battle, both of the stacks were in red. So you can imagine what it feels like if they actually use double AoE.
Yeah.
Will hit very hard.
So if that first flash is Firaga or one of the AoE spells they have, suddenly that fight goes very differently. And speaking of scary fights, Brainbugged is showing up to Brandalis, and Rhoda is showing up to the 2-parter.
Yeah, no need to wait for next week's episode. It's happening tonight.
Yeah, I mean, after the 2-parter, there is a bit of a lull, and then it's pretty much non-stop action from there on in. It is a quite literal boss rush.
Mm-hmm.
You go and deal with some cutscene and story stuff, go to the Colosseum, and then start slaughtering So Faith gets put
Oh
onto
god,
Rain.
they're potentially crossing splits again.
Yeah.
Huh? What's
The
the matter,
magic
Tama?
shield comes up. I think
Something just that gave me a start.
the
That's
setup
what it was.
so far.
You'll see this enemy more often later on in the game, like the Plumed Knight. It's always weak to water, so we try to use the dragon skills and the water spellstones on him because it will hit a lot harder.
Yeah. So Rota's fight so far is going well.
Yes.
Randalis is a little slow on Brain Bug screen at the top right. Physical attack hits Searcher. Okay, that's good. Spider Silk renewed.
Looks pretty safe on his side.
Yeah, Rota is lightning marbling down Golden Knight.
Yes. What Rhoda wants to do is like sacrifice all the unnecessary people, so the Searcher
Yeah.
gets maximum XP.
Yeah, ideally Lan wants to go to the next phase of full HP as well. He is one lightning marble away from dying. Perfect setup into the next fight.
Mhm.
Searcher will now be level 44.
Yeah, you'll immediately get thrown into a second fight without being able to menu in between, so you want to end on full HP with Lan.
A pretty good Brandalis so far. I
He is
think it
almost
might
dead.
die because of the Spider Silk. It's 1 or 2 marbles left. The attack goes off. Searcher died, so he's going to have to Phoenix down. Hopefully it won't matter. 1 lightning marble left. Fantastic.
Yes,
Good
he got
Brandalis
Brandalis.
fight. They all got through it fairly free. Okay, so this
And
King
now
of
King
Bahamut
of
fight can be rough. He has a bunch of AoE attacks that hit very hard. So far, he's used he's used Dispelger and 1 single target attack.
Mhm.
Okay, it's the first AoE attack, and then the Abyss is fairly chunky single target damage.
He's also one of the few bosses that you can use a Spider Silk at again to slow him down a little bit. I think this is also the first time where we actually start to use shell stones, and as you can see, this is a magical effect.
And he's died.
Oh,
Yeah, Impulse.
the Impulse got him.
He used a Star Curtain and not a Shell Stone, so it killed him.
That is unfortunate.
Ooh,
Yeah, you want to have a shellstone there to like cut the magical damage in half, because Impulse hits really hard.
Well, this might be Team Mog's time to take the lead. Ooh, actually, they're both pretty much on the battle at the same
Yeah,
time.
they're starting the same battle now.
They are basically going to be starting at the same time. Team Mog has taken a very, very slight lead of about 4 seconds now.
The enemy will always start with, like most, they start with Magic Shield, which puts Shell and Protect on both of the enemies. And that's why you want the Holy Torch to dispel those effects. Because if you're doing half damage, then it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, if ever anybody in chat wanted Team Close Race, then boy oh boy are we here. We are 30 hours in, we're on the same fight, and the bosses have about the same health. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And obviously, Brainbug cannot be discounted. So far, his run has been exemplary.
Yes, very much so. Bringing it back for Team Tonberry, closing in that gap.
Hub's fight is not going as well as you'd want it to go. There's a lot of AoE attacks thrown out, and luckily Plume Knight is going to die, so you can just lightning marble him down now, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, Rhoda should be fine if he explosions here, which he does.
Yeah.
And then his big stack will be quite tanky again, with 3.5k.
Yeah, this is the last set of scary fights that you will go into without Reaper. Reaper. Oh, the blast wave puts him onto crit wobble. I would probably throw another X potion at Lan here.
Oh, he's going for it.
I think Choco Chick and Velfor have to die. I think he has. Okay, so he's high potioning. Gonna hope for not a blade dance. Or the blade dance might topple. It didn't topple.
Nope.
So is he gonna heal first? Okay, yeah, he
gets another
is
turn.
healing, and he gets another turn for the next one. Thank God for that.
Okay. It's kind of scary, but he pulled it off in the end. Full HP Lan.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Rota here on King of Bahamut, ever so slightly ahead.
Yeah, the downside of using like Shell and Protect is that it actually doesn't have a visual indicator, so you kind of just have to go by feeling and renew them in time.
Yeah, it's 6 turns
Yeah.
it lasts for. Okay, single target attack for Rhoda in the bottom left. The top left throws up with Dispelger. That's a good one. Shell does get thrown out. Dispelger again for Rhoda. Single target attacks are plenty right now. Does he have any Spider Silks? Yes, he does. Cool, we'll slow him down. The single target attacks are rife right now. They are exactly what you want to be seeing in this fight.
Yeah, ideally you want them like
Rhoda.
you want them to hit the small ones, because if they die it doesn't really matter. You can
Yeah.
just Phoenix down them.
Another Dispelger again. Okay, Harbor's playing is very, very safe. Probably the way.
There's another
The
impulse.
goes out
Another impulse.
again. That's how much damage it should be doing once you have Shellstone on.
I
I think he dies to the next lightning model, and he dies. Okay, King of Bahamut goes down for Rhoda.
That's a split.
That's a split. Another
split.
Dispelger for Harb, and King of Bahamut is getting down to a very low amount of health.
And Rhoda's beat the game.
Yeah, that's it. It's over.
That's what they make you think. But no.
It's
That's actually what happens after this
three
cutscene, is that
pounds.
you actually die. But
And a split for
you
Harb.
you
as well.
rewind time to not die again and do it better this time.
Yeah, because basically, I'm trying to remember. Lon like sacrificed himself to like create this like cage, and then him and Brandos get like trapped in it. And then Rain like loses like her will to live essentially, and then like she refuses to accept fate in true fashion, and so they redo things and try to change the course of time.
Yes.
I think that Tama actually like sacrifices himself kinda to turn back time. Because that's why Tama's not here anymore.
Right. I think that's
I
right.
don't even remember her like hugging Tama. I don't remember like where it fits into it. I know she like hugged him as like she was like falling through space.
Yeah, here's another big menu where we sell a lot of stuff, mostly like mega ethers, elixirs, mega elixirs, those kinds of things. For a lot of money, as you can see, has almost 160k. And we can actually buy a maximum amount of lightning marbles.
And you will also just see Harb talking about rumors. He didn't randomly decide that he was very interested in the lore. At the Colosseum, in order to progress, we need Ifrit and Shiva to show up. So if we proc the option in the rumor radar with Seraphi,
yes, that's her name.
They will immediately show up on the first battle you do.
And for those wondering, if you haven't noticed, we are only about 24-second difference between Choco and Mog teams right now. And this part right here with the gathering of the 7 pleads, I think is how the word is said. Ramu is pure RNG when he wants to appear. So things could very well change depending on how nice he wants to be today.
Yeah, it's a 40-odd second swing, because there are a bunch of fights you do for spell stones and a seed that you put onto a mirage board, and if he doesn't show up, you can either take your chance by keep fighting some random encounters and hoping that the cutscene procs at the beginning of the fight showing that Ramu's arrived, or you can go back to Ninewood Hills and do more Colosseum Whispers option with Seraphi, and that means that Ramu will be guaranteed to proc on the next fight.
Yes. So if he doesn't show up, after the 3 battles that you're gonna do, if he doesn't show up, you go back to Seraphi, and then he will show up 100% of the time.
Nobody told me that.
This is a learning day, learning experience.
It's a learning day. It's fine.
Oh my god! You know what so here's what I was doing. I was just sitting there and redoing the FF Mascots 1 over and over again until it happened.
How many chocobos have you killed in your life?
Let's not talk about that. To be fair, it's only actually happened to me twice in the runs I've done, so. But yeah, we're basically this is basically the end game, collecting these 7 summons. So it's just a lot of boss rushing, like it was said earlier.
And Rhoda will do this fight for a resist sleep seed that will help with the Diablos fight, so Lan won't constantly get put to sleep by Nightmare. Now he's not now. I guess he already did the menu, and we'll continue the rest of it afterwards. But the reason why you wanted Searcher at level 44 is so you can complete his grid. And once you complete his grid, you get the option to pick a trait, and you pick Auto High Potion, which just keeps the healing and potions going.
Yeah, makes life easier for you if he just heals himself whenever he gets hit.
Yes. And also you get Reaper, which, as I touched upon earlier, heals Lan every time Rain's stack or like one of them dies.
Yeah. So the main idea for like the remainder of the game will be that the Lan stack stays intact as a big stack. You try to protect it with Protect and Shell, that kind of stuff. And the other stack is going to be unstacked, so you have more people to throw items with. And every time they die, they also heal Lan, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, the beginning of the run, we used basically Rain for a lot of things, but now with Death Searcher and the ability Death, and sorry, not Death, but Gravity, we have shifted over to Lan being a big force in the DPS, because Gravity is going to be doing huge chunks of damage to some of these bosses that we need to fight due to being under-leveled and such.
So Gravity is either worthless or busted, depending on the game, because either almost everybody who it would be good against is completely immune to it, or nobody is, and you can use it freely on everyone for massive damage. This is one of those games where nobody's immune to it, so you can just sit here and Gravity things down.
Speaking about the
Including the final
Chocobo
boss.
mascots, Rhoda is doing them.
See, I'm not crazy. See, other people do it.
Alright, yeah, I mean, he's just hoping he doesn't have to go back. So he doesn't want to take the 45-second time loss, and he's just hoping he shows up in the first 3 encounters. I think if you do 3 encounters, it starts to lose time.
Pretty much that, yeah.
At the beginning of the 3rd encounter, if it doesn't proc. Or he doesn't know. Have talked about it openly in Discord, right? Like,
I think I have.
yeah.
Oh well, maybe you wanted to take a risk. Sometimes you take risks and they pay off, and sometimes they don't pay off. That's the definition of a risk, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're both doing FF mascots, so
They're actually both doing it. It's
yeah,
interesting.
they're both.
Both testing their luck.
Harb definitely knows that you can go back and get more Colosseum Whispering, so that does reassure me that they both know that that's the thing you can do, and they're choosing not to.
Well, meanwhile, Brainbugged is just happily climbing the chain.
Shout out to Kios for the raid.
Hmm?
Welcome in, Raiders.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, Ramu proc for Rota, so he's going to level 55, the responsible one.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to throw some lightning marbles at him and imprison him. Meanwhile, Harb stuck. Ramu does not want to show up.
Oh, maybe Ramu's just having a tough day, so, you know. He doesn't want to leave his home.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe he woke up and decided that being the god of thunder was not enough today.
Yeah, maybe he just turned his phone to silent. Can't reach him today.
I love the image of just Ramu sitting down on an armchair. He looks by, his phone's going off. It's Lan and Rain calling him again. He just waits for it to ring out and then puts it on vibrate, you know?
It's an old man. He's got better stuff to do.
Yeah.
On a serious note, we are going into a series of boss battles, as been mentioned before. And the first one is the big dragon, Bahamut.
Ah, my worst enemy. We meet again.
Yes, Bodhi, take it away.
So, Bahamut is annoying, plain and simple. Anyway, so real talk about the battle. So the way this battle works is he hits hard, he's strong. He does a move called Touchdown. It's an AoE. Basically one-shots the unstacked units, but the problem is sometimes his AI wants to spam it. And so when he spams it, as literally just happened to Team Choco
Like
there,
now.
like now, it's almost like I'm talking there, and Baja Blast takes us down. But essentially, that's what happens. Touchdown gets spammed, you wobble, you fall over, you stun, basically does it again, and you're out, kaput. The other problem with the Bahamut battle is that you need to use around, like, what, 6 gravities to, like, lower the health, because after some time passes, like, most of us who've played Final Fantasy games, which I assume is most of the people watching probably, we know that Mega Flare can sometimes be a countdown ability. Well, it is in this game too, a countdown ability, and yeah, you pretty much can't survive it. So you need to get Bahamut's HP so low, which is around 6 or 7 gravities for to make it better for you, and then just go to town on Lightning Marble spam and hope you take him down. I've actually had battles end at it's like he's like at like a sliver HP and then 1 and then Mega Flare, and it's just like all this time loss.
Yeah, you don't get to control when he starts counting. Sometimes he'll just start counting really early and there's nothing you can really do about it. It's tragic. This time Bahamut appears to be playing ball. I think that was the 4th gravity. And he's only touched down once. Yeah, I mean, the duality of Bahamut right now. Like, he's touched down once, whereas last time he's touched down 4 times in a row and just one-shot us, and it was like, well, unlucky. Like, he's probably going to start counting now. Yeah, there you are. So it starts counting now. So everybody's going to unstack, and we're just going to throw lightning marbles over and over again until he dies. I think this is almost certainly a kill.
It is certainly a kill, but you look at his health bar and you see like maybe 5% left, and then it's still 10 lightning marbles or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot of marbles.
Lots of health.
Oh man, it baffles me. Like, I'll sit there and I'm like, okay, I got this. He's not dying. He's not dying.
He's not dying. Well, no, and then he gets to 1 at the countdown, starting to sweat. He's dead. But yeah, that's Bahamut.
So second try for Rhoda. Second time it went a lot better. I think Harbs is going okay. Oh, the wobble's a bit concerning. Does he have any wobble stoppers? He doesn't, apparently. So he's just going to keep gravitating. Hope he doesn't touch down here. Touchdown could be fairly disastrous.
That's a touchdown.
Touchdown! And he's going to unstack. There's no way he lives through that. Hopefully this is a singular attack. Oh, he's going to start counting. That's actually okay. So you can Phoenix down, throw lightning marbles, 1 more gravity, and you might be close.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. I can't really tell from here.
Yeah, the haste is probably a good idea. That's the last gravity that's going to go off 11,000. It's going to be very close. Oh, he's going for the last gravity. He's also going to start throwing lightning marbles now.
4K.
I think he might be short. It's either like
he has 24K F.
Yeah, I don't. It's either a kill.
It's a barely kill,
or it's dead.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
I can see Rhoda on the bottom left on Odin. You just kind of hope he doesn't physically attack Lan enough to the point where they topple. I Is it going to be enough?
There's the Mega Flare.
No, it's not. He was probably 1 or 2 lightning marbles off at worst. Oh, Bahamut.
Yeah, as you could see, it did like 7k to all the unstacked people, which is a lot of
Yeah.
damage.
It feels bad, and Rhoda gets to open up that lead a little bit. Rhoda's also going to now be fighting against Leviathan.
That's another scary one.
Leviathan's
I mean, to be honest, they're all scary.
one. Yeah, they're all scary other than Diablos, weirdly. He's kind of a pushover. Because his whole thing is that he puts you to sleep. He can't really kill you unless you're trolling. Whereas Leviathan has an attack called Reaper, does differently than the ability we use. It's like a massive attack, AoE physical attack. You need Protect, Stone, and Shellstone up at all times against Leviathan. Also, things like Tsunami really hurt. Oh god, you can see Harbour again gets hit by the touchdown.
Another touchdown.
And another touchdown. We're seeing Reaper coming in clutch every time everybody else is dying. Alarm goes from 1400 HP to 2800. Yeah, it's the Leviathan Reaper. Leviathan is super, super weak to Electro, so...
The main reason why Leviathan Reaper is so scary is because it can actually crit.
Yes.
And if it crits, it does a lot of damage. I don't know how much, but it can certainly kill you from like 75%.
Way too much.
Looks like Team Tonberry is making the trek through Castle X9.
Yeah, Harb will kill Bahamut this time. I think there's pretty much no doubt in my mind. The count is now at 3 when Bahamut gets his next turn, and he's almost dead as we speak, so we're safe on that one. Leviathan is looking a little precarious.
A full healed, that makes it a lot safer now.
Yeah, he almost has no health. 1 lightning... Oh, 2 lightning marbles even. Okay, he had a bit more health than I thought he did. Harb's still finishing out Bahamut. Apparently his health bar was slightly higher than I thought. Okay, no, there we are. Bahamut goes down. Bahamut goes down.
All right. And Leviathan went down for Choco.
And now Rhoda gets to do Diablos. Diablos is just long. It needs a lot of gravities. You need to throw a lot of ethers in order to replenish MP. You shouldn't die on Diablos. It's the safest of the 4
yes.
primals.
The main reason why...
lengthy.
Go ahead.
I was just saying it's very lengthy because it's a 2-parter and you use a lot of gravities.
Yeah, he has a lot of HP. The main reason why he isn't as scary as he should be is because we got a resist sleep seed earlier on, which makes it so Long can never fall asleep. And this guy can spam a Nightmare, which puts everyone to sleep.
Yeah.
And if you resist a certain status effect in this game, you will be completely immune to it, I think. I'm pretty sure.
So as you can be resistant and immune, but I think most status effects you get, like resist sleep, mean that you're immune, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Harp is currently on Odin. Seems to be going okay so far.
Yep. And the lightning marbles do a ton of damage versus Odin. They do like 3 times damage, as you can see. 4.5k.
Same for Leviathan.
For some reason, he's weak to lightning, which...
It's because he's non-elemental.
Is he not elemental?
Yeah, you know what? I'll just take your word for that. It sounds like it could be correct.
I don't know what it is with the lore of that, but Odin has, like, even though he may use elemental spells in my experience, he always seems to be considered as like a non-elemental character, or like not like typed with any element. Now I don't know why he's weak to lightning specifically compared to other things, but
I'm just slightly confused because in FF13 he is kinda lightning. I'm pretty sure he does lightning spells.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That's why it's odd. It makes a little sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's generally like a physical type.
In FF4 he holds a sword up and is weak to it. So he's just A lightning conductor.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, the sword's a lightning rod. You strike lightning on the sword and bam.
Bam.
Shiska Odin.
So, Khan is now at Leviathan. Leviathan has done his best not to troll. Protect and Shell are now up.
Yeah, in addition to like throwing ethers and high ethers and that kind of thing, you can also just take turns, as in just defend with a certain stack, and you will recover either 1 or 2 AP per turn.
Well, 1 and then 2, right? Oh no, 2 and then 1, sorry.
Yeah, they like rotate, right? It's 1 and then 2 and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
1.
they
But I don't know which one it starts.
I think it's 2 and then 1. I might be wrong. Alright. Hard with a pretty chill Leviathan fight. Lots of turns, 2 physical attacks.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the last Mirage that he needed to catch.
What now?
Which means there's only one more fight left before the final boss push.
So, if anybody is here role-playing as a FF15 waiting room, you won't have to wait too much longer. We are 6 fights away from the first 15 run starting, I believe. About 15 minutes? Potentially? Maybe a bit longer? I can't quite remember off the top of my head how long the cutscenes are.
I think it's 10.
10? I think it'll be a bit longer than that, ballsy.
I actually don't know. I'm confused now.
Before the final boss rush starts, we do have to make a slight side trip to go and see QB and then kill QB, so we can give the soul of QB to the girl in the tea room or something.
Chris, we don't kill people in this game, we put them to rest.
Sorry, we put them to rest by mercilessly slaughtering them, my bad.
Wow.
Sorry, by creative use of game mechanics.
Yes, exactly.
There you go. Oh, right, yeah. Obviously, if you don't like FF15, don't worry. There's still plenty of World of Final Fantasy to come, or you can just pretend or something. I don't know.
I was about to like just think, how are you gonna save this this sentence? What have you gotten yourself into?
Yeah, alright. My brain is full frazzle right now. It's Pepsi and Tesco Spark that's keeping me awake. Energy drinks don't come more classy than Tesco Spark, let me tell you.
Oh boy. And yeah, Rhoda just entered a secret area in the Icicle Ridge where you will find this battle.
Something that can happen here is you can forget to heal when you leave because you can just shortcut your way straight through.
Yes.
And
that
it's
would
a
be-
bit feels bad if you get here and you have like 1500 HP and no MP because you have to sit there and just stabilize for 30 seconds.
Mhm. And for those of you who remember Tama from earlier on, if Tama grows up and becomes evil, then it looks like this. Pretty much.
Yeah. But we're putting it to rest.
We are putting it to rest, yes, indeed.
Brainbugged. I mean, he must be approaching the end at some point, right? Like, he seems to have been in Castle X9 forever. I think this place just takes forever, to be fair.
He has one carbuncle fight left, I think.
Okay, he's near
Because
the
I've
end.
seen him skip the third one. Yep, this is the... No, this is the fourth one. And then you get like one more left. It's like one fake one.
Okay, we've got a lot of love for 15 in chat. I'm happy about this. So, this cutscene is unskippable.
It is. You get the speech from Seraphy.
Yes.
Do you want to save the world? You can also say no, but can't really advance
Yeah.
the story if you do that.
Yeah, and then she basically just calls you a spoil spot and to come back when you're ready.
A heavy task, man. Need to save the world.
What now?
All right, Team Chocobo begins the final boss rush on their end.
The first two bosses will be a 1v1 battle, you can see.
The first two battles are 1v1s, but we're going to use Titus. Unfortunately, you can now skip the animation that Titus does, where he like flips off his sword and kicks his blitzball into him.
Oh,
Ooh,
it's literally a
double
disaster.
Yeah, Doom is a lot scarier than it. Not as scary as it looks. It takes so long to take down.
Yeah, you have several turns to like heal it.
Yeah, you can get a lot of stuff done whilst Doom is ticking down.
But yeah, the reason we use Titus is because it does like a fixed amount of damage. It does about 4.5k. And then it also boosts our evasion rate, which makes us having to heal less often, because he uses physical attacks against us sometimes.
Looks like Team Tomberry has reached the King of Bahamut,
Yep.
or at least the battle before the King of Bahamut, but they're making some nice headway.
Yeah, they're kind of fighting the same enemies. It's just like the earlier versions.
Yeah. Alright, so boss number 1 went pretty well for Rhoda. Titus didn't crit, but the boss missed twice, which is kind of a pog.
Yes. All because of the help of Titus, boosting your evasion.
Yes. It's like it's rooted that way or something, it's crazy.
I think it's coincidence.
Wiggy dink, I don't think.
Okay, so part 1 is going pretty well for Team Tonbury in the top right. I'd probably X-Potion, because it could be disastrous if there's some kind of a... Okay.
He is defending, which leaves him alive, technically.
Oh my god! Yep! Okay! Yeah, it's fine! It's fine! It's fine! That's fine! I wasn't worried!
You said you were 42 earlier. I kind of... I don't know.
Oh god!
Chris, are you saying fine or svine?
Both!
He got him. It's all fine. Don't know what you were worried about.
It's fine! It's fine! Oh lord! Oh, I was terrified when I saw that lightning marble. Okay, that was close. It's fine. He got past it.
Looks like we got third battle in the boss rush against Pelennor, which is a combination of the Plumed Knight and Sigaris, I believe.
Oh, is it? I
can't remember. Or no, I can't remember the lore of that.
It might be. I actually don't know.
The Plume Knight has like changed or something. I forgot like what it is.
It kind of makes sense because they change names, and I don't think they just change names because for fun, you know. They probably merged. Yeah, that sounds about right. He's almost dead. Oh.
Yeah, Brainbug now has Shellstone popping on King of Bahamut. Spider Silk is now up. Everything is going okay. Third boss and Pelennor is going fine. Big area attack. And you dice to this dragon scale. Very nice. We'll go through to the fourth one. There are 5 bosses in total.
Yeah. At this stage of the game, if you have any kind of protection on your big stack, as in Shell or Protect, then it usually won't get one shot. So as long as they're like full HP, got your protection up, then you're good to go. It only gets scary when you're like lower HP or your protection wears off.
Is King of Bahamut dead? Yes, it is. Very nice fight from
dead.
Brainbug. Got that. Hard now starts the boss rush as well.
Well, if you remember from earlier on, we could use Spider Silks on both Brandalis and King of Bahamut to slow it down. But on this one, on X9 Bahamut, it only has a 50% hit rate for some reason. So you can try to hit him, but it won't always stick.
Okay, so I was wrong. Pelennor is just the name of the Plume Knight. It's just finally unveiled at that point.
Alright. Just risen from the dead to fight you again.
Yeah, the fights are looking okay for Harb and Rhoda currently. Boss
Looks
number
like
4's
with
very close to dying.
I was gonna say with Team Tonberry's most recent split, looks like they're only behind by 2750 now.
Very
Well,
nice.
gain some time.
Brainbug is putting in a stellar run.
Yeah, it's actually just cruising through it.
Rhoda is now, however, on the final bass.
Yes, X9
So,
Bahamut 2.
Team Choco, get ready. I will say when you're good to start. On console, this fight is apparently completely free. On PC, it's a little scary. I've yet to die to it, but I have seen other people die to it, so I know it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you look at the middle of the boss, you can see like a color. Right now it's red, which means it will absorb the fire element. So it can change to any other color at any point in time, so you need to keep track of it. And just throw the appropriate element at it. As long as you don't throw the one that he absorbs, then it's pretty fine.
I realized about the color thing.
Maybe I should update my guides.
I mean, I didn't want to put you on blast, but to be fair, your notes were not a guide. They were just notes.
Yes, that's true. They are actually just notes. People just use them as a guide.
It was on me. I should have asked more questions, did more, watched more runs. That's on me. I will accept that.
Yeah, just ping me.
But hey, this has been eye-opening for me.
Okay, we're getting very close to the end here. The boss is kind of trolling. This is a lot of Dark Rebels. This is a lot of...
That's a lot of Dark Rebels.
Spanish.
That's the lost remedy. Doesn't really matter, but...
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. I think at this point you can just start lobbing spellstones, honestly. It might start counting down soon.
Yes, as soon as it hits the countdown, then it will be super vulnerable to all elements except the one that he is showing. As in, it will do ×3 damage.
There's the countdown. Yeah, 9,000, and we're done. Team Choco, go.
Well, GG's to Rhoda.
GG's to Rhoda. Pretty solid run overall. He got trolled pretty hard at the beginning by 8 minutes to capture RNG. Absolutely nothing to do beyond that, but solid run from that point on. Harb is very close to the end as well. Harb is 2 bosses away from finishing, so this is nowhere near done.
That Brainbugged is also doing the Chocobo mascot thingy.
Yep.
I think only you two know about this method.
We've talked about it in Discord. Like, I don't know what you want from us.
Hey, I'm the new guy. I'm the new guy making an observation.
Wait, is it actually not in my notes?
No, it's
now
not.
I'm confused.
It's not. It's definitely not.
It says grind until Ramu comes out, go back and get Ramu later.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just a matter of interpretation. I mean, like, go back to Ninewood Hills and then get them later. Just then tell you where to go, but you have to go back somewhere. This is my defense.
But hey, like I said, I've learned plenty, so I'm gonna make that sub 310 happen, baby.
I missed attack. Harb is using a lot of spellstones on this fight, so
yeah,
that's my usual.
Yeah, that's fine. So he's on the very, very final boss now. So Team Mog, get ready.
Yes. After this final boss, we can probably hand it over to the next game so they can introduce the new runners, etc. So it will be a little bit of downtime for World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So Protect Stone goes up and Shell Stone goes up?
Mm-hmm. Seems like the big stack is safe. It's also full HP. If you have any leftover star curtains as well in this battle, you can use them as well, which will give you Reflect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, essentially the strategy to this last boss is just throw the kitchen sink at him.
Pretty much. Just think that the kitchen sink will like hurt a little bit less than a fire spellstone, you know, but you can always try.
Yeah, I don't know why I defaulted to plumbing. That's my bad. Res, bosses at half health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get Oblivion at any point in time, which is basically silence in this game, you have 4 remedy pluses, which will get rid of that.
Once thing comes out,
You should be at about 12k left, I think.
give or take, yeah. Still plenty of spell zones left. I think there's 2.
He's very close to dying.
Very close
Boom.
to dying. Just one more will do it.
Time.
Oh,
Oh,
and he's dead. That's time.
yeah, and time team mod can go. So GG's in chat for Harb.
What a run.
GG's.
What a run.
Just want to point out, at Omega I was 20 seconds behind PB. Now I'm 6 minutes 20 behind, so this post-game was not nice to me.
Yeah, things didn't work out, that's for sure. Whilst Brain Bugged is in the Colosseum, and we're just grinding and not really doing anything, would the Final Fantasy 15 runners like to give an intro?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. And another GG for the runners of World of Final Fantasy there. Welcome, everybody, to Final Fantasy 15. My name is Ashen Prime, one of your commentators here. And also with us is Barbados.
Hello.
And we'll be helping guide you through this game. The runners have already started. We have Yutamoda running for Team Chocobo, and Kios Little Monster, who just started for Team Mog. Kios is also going to be joining us on commentary, I'm sure.
You know it.
But yeah,
Shout outs.
Go ahead.
We're going. On my way.
No? All right. So we're getting started into the game just basically right away with a fun, mostly cutscene where we push the car around into the Hammerhead Museum, Hammerhead Garage, and then immediately get sent into our training battles for Yita here, warping around and killing scorpions.
Right off the bat, you'll notice that jumping is the fastest form of movement. It is faster than infinite sprinting, and you'll be seeing him use the Ragnarok right now as it's a pretty powerful one-handed sword for the moment.
Yes, we are playing on PC, so the Windows edition of Final Fantasy 15, which is basically the Royal Edition that you would get on consoles, which means that all the DLC, except for Episode Arden, but all the rest of the DLC is unlocked, including DLC weapons like Ragnarok, which allows us to hit really hard at the beginning of the run here. And it is worth noting, technically, warping is faster movement than jumping, but warping uses mana. We only have so much MP that we need to conserve, so there's very strict routing for MP throughout the game to make sure that we have our fastest form of movement up as we're going through all these sections. So if you are new to Final Fantasy 15... let me give a really quick introduction to the story. We're here with our 4 friends. As the player, we control Noctis, Lucius Kylum, who is the crown prince of Insomnia and the Lucian state. He is on a road trip, basically, with his friends Ignis, Gladio, and Prompto. We say friends. Ignis and Gladio are actually retainers, but it's fine. They're as friends as is important for this game. And at the start of the game, we have been kicked out of the crown city of Insomnia for the first time in our lives. These 4 boys have never left their walls, and going on a road trip to get Noctis to his wedding, and in the middle of the road trip, basically right outside the walls. Their car breaks down and they have to push it into a garage to get it fixed. They don't have enough money for the actual repairs, and so they're sent off to do some errands, including killing various hostile wildlife and going and finding other people who have gone missing. And that's where we find ourselves now.
And if 15 people don't mind if I butt in, just going to say, a little unfortunate on Team Tonbury in the World of Final Fantasy. Brainbug just got touchdown spammed again, so every runner has now died to Bahamut.
Ooh.
Unlucky.
It's just a brutal fight. When he wants to sit around and touchdown spam, that's all he's going to do, and it might happen again. Oh my lord, he's already counting down.
Yeah, might be close, but he can kill him or not.
I don't think he can. I think it's going to be close.
It's going to be, close, if at all possible, to pull it off.
So 70. He has 22 left. 22k. 20k.
And he's got, I think he can only do 18.
You do 1.1. So it's close? Question mark?
Alright, sure. He can do 19.8. I think he's just short.
We'll find out soon.
Well, he's got
he got it.
7. He's got it. Okay, never mind. He had less health than we thought he did. Okay, all right. We can all let's get ready to kick some breathe a sigh of relief from Brainbug.
Take a breath and breathe.
Yeah, very much a sigh of relief. So now he's just going to go through Odin and then Leviathan. And then on to Diablos, and as long as he plays those fights safely, he should be chilling for now. And I think I can just hand it straight back to the 15 people during this segment again.
All right, thank you. And don't be afraid to pitch in or to cut in as necessary. I'm afraid I don't know World of Final Fantasy at all, so I wouldn't be able to tell what is interesting and what isn't. So,
okay, thank you. I will do.
I think it's definitely better when I get to hear Chris Tenarium explain World of Final Fantasy to me. I treat it as a delicacy, much like pineapple on pizza.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
And here we go.
I've never been so offended in my life.
Man, Kios, that took, 5 minutes into the run?
I don't even want to hear it, Wody.
All right, in the realm of Final Fantasy, or Final Fantasy 15, everything's in the realm of Final Fantasy. In the realm of Final Fantasy 15, Yida's into one of the first kind of big fights, but even with that and watching Kios jump around the map, you may notice that we do play some dress up with Noctis. The outfits that we choose are very specific. They each have a different bonus. Barbie, do you want to talk about why we use the outfits we use and which outfits they are, and etc.?
Yes. So, you'll see at the start we were using the Magitech. That's that weird futuristic looking thing. That'll stop us from being interrupted, and
Not today.
it'll make us invulnerable to damage for 30 minutes inside of battle. Now, we baby this throughout the run so that we can have it when we need it the most. You'll notice on Rita's screen that he's wearing a suit. That is the royal raiment. That will make us recharge magic faster and HP a little bit faster. We're mostly using it for the magic recharge faster. It also will give us a little bit more magic as well, allowing us to fit in roughly about an extra warp strike. Also, a little adjustment Yida will have to make. So we need lightning magic right now to set up for the upcoming chapters. He needed to kill the dual horn enemy that you saw with the engine blade to zug some magic from it. Unfortunately, one of the bros killed it first, and he wasn't able to do that, so he's going to have to make a slight adjustment in order to get more magic. The other outfit we will be using will be the casual outfit. that one will up crit rate, and I mean, you know, crit equals damage, and we all love that.
Absolutely. Worth pointing out, the magic system in this game, rather than having a series of spells that you can choose from a list and cast, magic works more like elemental bombs, or an elemental grenade, for lack of a better term. So there are spaces in the game and certain attacks and weapons you can use to gain each of the elements, and then there's a crafting screen where you combine those with other items that you pick up to create a bomb of a certain size that you can then deploy in battle to just annihilate your enemies, and we make great use of those throughout the course of the run.
That's what this is about. If you need, I could always lend you the regalia.
We're coming up on Kios's screen, actually. We're coming up on one of our first skips. So this game was built as kind of or conceived as you as the player controlling Noctis are going on a road trip with your friends. And so there are a lot of mechanics and interactions in the game to kind of sell that fantasy, including sometimes when the retainers, your friends with you, will interrupt your gameplay, and then you'll be in a dialogue tree and have to skip out of it. Kios right now is actually making specific movements here to skip one of the triggers for those that is supposed to happen here. And I'm fairly certain...
Tractor.
Yeah. And so we're past that point now. Go ahead.
It'll waste about 30 to 45 seconds if he gets it, because it stops us from moving, and Ignis has to talk, but both runners so far have done it flawlessly.
Yeah, and so it's one of those interesting skips where, as you're watching, if you aren't familiar with the game, you don't know that anything has changed because we just continue moving on, but it's very specific actions have to be taken there in order to make sure that we don't get interrupted in the middle of our gameplay. So Kios now is fighting the dual horn that we mentioned earlier. This dual horn, in terms of the story now, it's infected with the Star Scourge. The player doesn't know that. Noctis doesn't know that at this point, but I'm just going to tell you because that's most of my role here is to talk about the lore. I love it. And the Star Scourge is basically the big bad throughout the game. All of the enemies, all of the bosses, and all that basically are being manipulated by the Star Scourge to do the bad, evil things that they're doing. And so this is our first interaction with it, where it has changed this dual horn somewhat to make it more monstrous. And as it gets to nightfall and we start fighting more creepy creatures and more demons, these are all creatures, beings, sometimes humans, who have been infected with Star Scourge to be turned into the monsters they are. And so the entire point of this game is getting Noctis to the point where he can safely cleanse the world of the Star Scourge and this darkness that is killing things.
I loaded in so fast I wasn't going in the right direction.
And that skip that we did there's actually, and this is a great point to point it out because Yida is about to do some work with this as well. There are two major ways to fast travel in the game outside of the car. A lot of the travel is inside the regalia, and that has different mechanics. But when you're on foot outside of the car, there's two major ways to fast travel. One is to warp to where you have slept last. The other is to warp to the car itself. So Kios there... actually, I'm not sure. Do you warp to the car or warp to where you slept last? Both of them are at Hammerhead at that point, so I don't know
whichever's quickest. So it's rest point. It's R3X.
Yeah,
3X.
At the beginning, it's rest point, and then when you rest somewhere, it'll set that rest point as your waypoint.
Yeah. And so that's what we see from Yida right now. He's pulled over here. He stopped. He's getting some more of the thunder element that he'll need for crafting. And then he's coming up to a campsite, which are scattered about the map. And he'll be resting at this campsite for some benefits, but also primarily to unlock it as a warp point for future use.
Yeah, you'll be seeing why we're resting here very shortly.
Yeah.
You can also eat food at rest points right now. We don't need that. We don't need any of the benefits, but we will be using food benefits later on in the later on chapters. You'll notice that he did some menuing and some shopping. He sold some access stuff that we don't need, and he proceeded to buy some things that we do need. Like when making magic, you add a catalyst. Very early in the game, we have access to an item called sheep's milk. The sheep milk, when we combine 99 of it with our magic, it gives us dual cast, and it gives us a maximum strength dual cast that we can make very early in the game, and we're going to be making use of this periodically. But very good for us and for the magic. It can easily hit cap magic damage very, very early in chapter 1 with this setup. He also made an adjustment to grab a node in your ascension to grab more magic to make up for not getting the magic at the dual horn.
Yes, the kind of blue screen with all the dots on it, that's the leveling up or ascension system where you can unlock more skills, unlock more perks, things like getting more magic at the nodes, etc. Over the course of the game. And those are all unlocked with AP, and so a lot of the conversation choices actually reward you with AP in different ways. So a lot of the conversations are also carefully routed so that we have the right AP at the right points to get the nodes that are most helpful to going through the game quickly.
It's very handy that way, but also representative of real life. For any percent, the easiest way to get out of a conversation with someone very quickly is to just be very rude, which is like 90%. I think like almost all of the dialogue choices in the speedrun are like very rude options or like very off-putting answers.
Yeah.
I wish we had that luxury in World of Final Fantasy.
Shut up, Chris.
This just doesn't really like Tama. It's all Tama hate.
It's literally it.
You'll also notice that Ida did not park in the parking spot. General rule of thumb when it comes to parking, anywhere that the game wants you to park, we don't want to let the game take over and park us ourselves. Well, we want to park manually because it will always be quicker from an animation standpoint and generally from positioning for movement to park where we want to park so that we can get in and out and move where we want to go quicker. It's just pretty much a general rule of thumb throughout any time we're parking the car.
Chris, I'm sorry.
It's alright, I'm just out here crying myself to sleep.
Yeah,
It's just a usual night.
I will say a lot of credit goes out to like the driving tech in this game. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know everyone's been like, "Oh, you play the driving simulator game." Shout outs to a lot of the Japanese members of the community, specifically Hawk Snow, I think was the first person that really started tinkering with changing the routes that we drive. So you'll see a lot of just like very weird driving, especially in chapter 3. You're going to see pretty much all of us decide to just drive on whichever side of the road we feel like it. The car itself is limited to, I don't think it's exactly, but quote unquote 60 miles an hour. So when you cannot actually go any faster, you have to make the lines you drive shorter. So you'll be seeing a lot of cut corners and quote unquote racing lines. I actually messed up the quick park tech as well, so minor time does.
And it is worth noting, and to kind of answer a question in chat that I think was a joke, but they asked if we can do donuts in the Regalia, and unfortunately the answer is no, because we aren't actually driving the Regalia. Ignis is the one driving the Regalia, and he will drive it along the road in the straight line to get on the road from where he is to where we want him to go. But we do have some control over where on the road he is. We can move some left and right, and like Kiz just said, cut some corners a little bit there to save some time. As long as there's not oncoming traffic that gets in the way.
Even then, you can I've pushed the limits. It's very often in my runs, like the last vehicle coming out of this parking spot here, I will literally sideswipe them. And it's like, I was just close enough.
As you'll see, for Ida, he used the rest point to warp to that campsite, which is right next to where we needed to go for our quest. And then he proceeded to warp back to the car, which was parked conveniently in a spot where we could move immediately. If we had let Ignis parked parked the car, we would have been facing our back towards Golden Key, and you would have had to move the camera and everything. But because we parked it where we parked it, you're able to immediately after warping in, or fast or quick traveling in, you're immediately able to keep moving.
Speaking of freebies, here's one from me. Come back if you want.
Now for a quick story update, yes, this wonderful, beautiful, paradisical area that the boys are in is called Golden Key. It's kind of a resort spot. It's also supposed to have ferries that will take people from Golden Key to the beautiful land of Altissia, which is where Noctis is supposed to get married. The boys show up. They meet an odd character who they've never seen before. I have thoughts on that. And then they find out that the ferries are closed, at which point they talk to Dino, everybody's favorite character, who tells them, hey, I can get you a ferry if you go and do this fetch quest for me. I mean, he starts by blackmailing them, which is also weird. But then he says, I can get you a ferry if you go and do this fetch quest for me. At which point, we warp back to the rest point, grab the thing he wants, see a giant bird, and then come back and talk with him again.
Hey, Prince Noctis, you want to be felonized? It's me, Dino, committing a federal crime.
Great.
There you go. Everyone gets the Dino voice. You're welcome.
There you go.
That's it. Everybody gets one. It's like Spider-Man.
Now, World of Final Fantasy, are we getting close to time on that?
We are 2 bosses away now.
Yes, it's about 3-4 minutes, something like that. Getting close.
I'm keeping my eye on it and trying to not get distracted by Kios's Dino impressions.
Hey, Chris, you want to go out and have some pasta and meatballs later? I'll bring my friend Mutsky. He loves garlic.
I don't now.
Dino Shimoni.
Hey, spaghetti and meatballs. Forget about it. How's these concrete boots?
It's like I'm in a call with Dino.
Oh no, I warped to the wrong spot. Oh well. Dropped an input. I fixed it.
It was an odd choice for them to have Dino be just the most kind of annoying Northwestern American accent you've ever heard.
It's weird. There's only 2 people that have like a distinct regional accent. Everybody else is just kind of their voice.
Yeah.
You have Ignis, who's British of some sort. You have Cindy, who's like this weird Texas, Arkansas, Florida combo, and then there's Dino from New Jersey, Boston, New York, Italy. I don't know what was going on there. He's British. Happy Tuesday.
Oh my god.
It's whatever. Like for some reason, it just fits though. Thankfully, this world paints a lot of it. I know Ashen, who is more of the lore expert in the commentary. We'll get into it a lot later with a lot of the building design and the environment design in this game was pulled from a lot of real life locations, in case you haven't noticed, but that's definitely a topic for later in the run.
It looks like we're on the final boss for World of Final Fantasy. Just about to call time here in a few minutes.
1 minute
Team
should be
Tonberry
time.
tries to,
1 minute.
Yep. Right now he's just setting up his deck, doing all the protective stuff, and as soon as he is set up, should be good to go. Even has a few spare elixirs, so makes it a lot easier.
Why even bother using ethers when you have elixirs?
Yeah, exactly.
Throw the kitchen sink.
Tear out the plumbing, throw the kitchen sink at him. He's about 40%, 33% HP left.
He literally used like 3 elixirs in one fight. I haven't seen this before.
Yeah.
So many elixirs.
Oh my god, it was ice. Damn it.
That's fine. It's not counting yet. That's fine.
Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky if you don't pay attention to the color, and it just changes right before you want to throw something.
Yeah, ice and water looks a little bit the same.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I wonder how things are in the
One is like light blue, and the other one is a little bit less light blue. It's just normal blue.
Like different
It's not even
shade.
dark blue. Oh, that's the countdown.
Countdown.
One more. That's
Yeah,
time.
there we go. Time, where you go?
GG.
All right, go.
GG.
Hey, Gambate Ramu.
GG.
Hey, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much, Sears Relay, for featuring WAF. We out.
We are out. Good luck, 15 people. We shall leave
Yes,
you.
good
in
luck,
peace.
15.
GG Brainbugs.
Thanks.
And good
The
luck.
bachelor party is going quite poorly.